the two-term situation, et cetera. At one point, I remember the argument pretty well. Now I don't even remember it because I didn't agree with it. But he would, he would try that, right? And then the other side would sort of argue that is it the 12th Amendment, maybe? No person who can't be president is eligible to be vice president? Something like that. I'm sorry, no person who's not eligible to be president can be vice president. I think it's the 12th Amendment. But there's an argument there that was just attempting to point out the qualifications, right? And didn't have to do with the limitation that came later. I'm not arguing this really well. But I agree with you, but I think there are some legal arguments, just the same way he pushes every other legal argument that he could make. Now, I'm not really, like I said, I'm much more concerned that he would invoke the Insurrection Act and Congress would do nothing and say, okay, cool, and then we find ourselves in effect in martial law. That to me is much more realistic than Donald Trump trying this weird situation, because I don't know that Donald Trump would trust anyone to move aside for him, right?
Yeah, and like I was saying about the Speaker of the House, I don't know that position, if I'm not mistaken, does not require that you are a member of the House of Representatives.
That's correct. So what would happen is, they appoint him speaker, and then whoever ran for president and vice president steps aside, and you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
But that presupposes that the two people who are running are telling the truth and would be willing to step aside. I don't think, if I'm Donald Trump, I'm not going to trust that, because he wouldn't do that himself, right? He would lie. No, he just would. You know that. He would say, yeah, sure, I'll do this. And he'd say, well, under the circumstances, I was the best person. He would never do it. So I think for the idea of him to trust someone to do that would never happen. So like I said, I'm much more concerned with other scenarios, which seem to me to be things he's already set us up for. Now, Allie is correct. The guy has been now telling us there's no problem at the border, right? There are no crossings anymore. He shut it down. So how it can be a national emergency isn't really logical, is it? But, logic has never stopped him.
Indeed.
Yeah, that interviewer lady, she definitely, I heard a bunch of Republicans going, she didn't do well. And I'm like, that was a pretty good setup. Okay, no emergency. You got it all fixed. So why don't you want to remove it?
I don't know. I think if AOC, Hillary, or Kamala runs again, I believe he's going. He's going to do it. I believe he's going. I believe he's going to do it after campaign. I don't know how, but he's going to. He's going to get on the ballot.
I think try is where I'm at. I have faith. I think he's going to try. And I think a state of emergency, yeah. I mean, look at what happened after 9/11, COVID. All kinds of things happen when state of emergency is declared. And the last time we had a third-term president was it FDR, right? Maybe
Yes,
is that right? Or is that
yes,
when it
ma'am.
started?
That's
But
right.
it was the war. You didn't want to, it was like stability, World War II. You don't want to change presidents. And it's historically people are more likely to elect the incumbent if there's war, which makes the military industrial complex money.
Well, aren't we spending a boatload of money on military presence at the southern border? I mean, a boatload.
Maybe that's going to be the new golden, the iron thing? It's
Golden Dome.
The Golden
most
Dome,
ridiculous use of money ever. Honestly, this is like so ridiculous. It's never going to happen. It would be $1 trillion, take 30 years, and the threats that it's worrying about are not threats that really are.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, Tira, doesn't Russia do like operations in Cuba all the time? And doesn't like Russia have nuke-tipped subs
It
in
doesn't
Venezuela?
protect us against interballistic
missiles.
missiles. It doesn't really protect against massive drone attacks. I mean, this is, in 30 years, God only knows what the attacks will be. This is nonsense, okay? It's
Well,
just a waste of money.
subs off the coast would be the next
Oh, come
Yeah.
on, Ally. This is, this is a way to give Elon Musk a lot of contracts. I agree
The
that.
U.S. Navy, I'm sure, stays busy actually keeping an eye on the oceans and what's coming up and around and about in there.
And the coast.
And
Terry,
and
can I?
Cuba for sure is hosting Russia military exercises, and not just Cuba. Venezuela is pretty friendly as well, right?
Terry, can
I mean, out of all the South American countries, what do you think? Venezuela is most friendly with Russia? And you know about that, right? Then it's been like 6, 7 years, right? With the news around this, that Russia's got weaponry to the south of America.
Well, I about spit out my drink earlier when one of our great ladies doing the datelines leading into this podcast spoke about a a PR op at the southern border with who was it? Who was the administrator that was down there? Rubio. And they were showing off a drone that was to be a $50,000 drone to be scrutinizing the border. And about 30 seconds into the flight, it crashed into some bushes a few 100 feet away from all the press and everything. I just can't wait to see the pictures and the video. It's just incompetence at the height.
Terry, can I ask a question briefly? I don't believe he's going to get on the ballot, but what you were talking about, civil unrest, war, I mean, I do believe he will create that before he'll give up. I would like to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, look, a lot of this depends on situation, his health, things like that. But I do believe that Donald Trump would like to stay in power. I don't think he's planning, for a running for a third term right now. I think if he thinks about it, he's thinking he'll just take over the country because that's easier than winning an election, right? And as president, he has many levers to use. The main one, and he has been giving us, sort of forecasts of this, is national emergencies. According to him, I think fentanyl's a national emergency, southern border's a national. I mean, how many has he now declared? It seems like 4 or 5, right? And he could use one, and as I said, he could invoke the Insurrection Act, allowing the military to be used again. He has already replaced many of the generals and people in the military who might not agree with this usage of the military or might see that it's a pretext. So he's putting his loyalists in place. He's got Pete Hegseth, who is not, I think, let's just say, a traditional military man and doesn't have those same values in charge, and, of defense. So I think the possibility is there. I
I
hate
agree with you completely. I just wanted
I
it to
hate
come
having
from
these
you.
conversations because it's so awful to even contemplate. But I think it's when you listen also, I mean, there don't appear to be too many MAGA people on here right now, but when you listen to them and they say things like, let him do what he wants to, we don't care about the rule of law, you understand that a good chunk of his supporters, 35, 40, whatever it is, would be fine with any of these things. And that is also scary.
He's an idiot. I mean, look what's going on right now. Do you know how much money this is costing our government? I mean, let's just break it down from that. Take everything out of the equation. Let's just break it down to money. I mean, really, let's really look at that. But we don't know because no one's told us any true dollars. It's just destruction, world destruction. It's affecting other countries. We're going to have to pay other countries back for these tariffs. I mean, you're gonna sit there and say like, oh, like, I mean, this is not normal. This has not happened before. It shouldn't be. It should never have happened in the first place. He's not. We're not living. We're not Russia. We don't have Putin. We're not a dictatorship.
Okay, we're not going to have to pay other countries back for the tariffs because other countries didn't pay
Oh well,
the
you just
tariffs.
say,
We might have to
Okay,
do
but
hold
can I
on.
respond to all their other points?
Let's just wait and see, my dear.
Wait. Listen. come over to Chatter. You're getting some hate here, but I am with you. If we make it to year 4 of Trump with no nuclear war, I'm going to call it a win. I am with you, even if some other people in the chat, some people in the chat over at Chatter here are not. Yeah. And okay, Tara's point was fair, but the other stuff, I just wanted to say that. It's a dog and pony show.
I wouldn't even consider it a dog and pony show. I mean,
No.
I honestly, you can't. A dog and pony show. I've done a lot of those. Like this is not a dog and pony show. This is fucking up our economy.
Well, I'm
I,
with you, dear.
go ahead.
I'm with you, dear, on Clubhouse. You know, if the U.S. if Moody doesn't drop the rating of the U.S. dollar again, and if the economy is not in a full-on depression, and we're not being if the U.S. is not being bombed, I say it's a win too. I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if we're not in a full war and martial law hadn't been declared and Moody hadn't dropped the rating again. I'd be shocked.
How sad is that, though? I love that you just
But
said that. I mean, it's so true. If they don't drop the bound, I agree with you 110%.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
Whoa,
about
whoa, 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 whoa,
dementia,
whoa, 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 whoa. I'm sorry, guys. We got to bring this shit back to earth. All right.
okay, yeah, you say if we're 6 years, he's got that nuclear button within his range. We'll
Okay.
say we are on planet what?
No, 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 guys, listen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting a little out there. So, all right, guys, welcome to Debate the News. Wow. If you guys are not following the podcast, make sure you follow the podcast. If you guys are, um, listening from home, download Chatter Social. Let's get this thing back going. Tara, real quick. So, in terms of these pardons, there's nothing that can be done. All right.
No,
Um,
nothing.
so, I said something earlier. I think these pardons are just another, I guess, example of Donald Trump not respecting the judicial system, judicial branch, because what he's doing is pretty much these people had their trials, and there's no reason to pardon these people. And so, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with that?
Look, I think he's pardoning them for a number of reasons. A, I think it's a sop to the base. You know, these were liberal judges, and these are good MAGA people, and they shouldn't go to jail. I think some of them are he's getting money from people, they're contributing to him, and so he's pardoning them, or their relatives are contributing, so he's pardoning them. I think some of them, quite frankly, are to try and appeal to like certain groups like African Americans by pardoning certain people, especially someone like Hoover, who's not even going to be able to get out. You know, I think he has varied motivations, but I think you're going to see a lot of these like every day.
So, you think him pardoning Hoover, does it make Derek Chauvin more likely or not, or
I
less
think it's a
likely?
I don't know, but I think it's a possibility because Chauvin too. He can pardon. Well, but that's the other. That would be the other. He doesn't. That's the other side of the coin. I don't think he needs to appeal to those people that much. He's already got the MAGA people, right? They follow him like it doesn't really matter what he says. They go. He says up, they say yes. He says down, they say yes. He says up, down, they go yes. It doesn't matter. So he doesn't need to pardon Derek Chauvin for them because he's already got them. He's trying to get other groups. I wouldn't be surprised if he pardoned somebody who Jewish people want pardoned soon. Because I think that's the game plan here. Get money out of it, appeal to your base to a certain extent, or people that you think your base will, be, or people who are immensely popular, and then appeal to certain other groups who you want to vote for you. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Chauvin, yes, maybe not. But I think that would tick off a number of African American groups who feel that that was a very valid conviction.
Chauvin's got state underpinnings.
That's right. So it's another thing like Hoover. He can't. He's not going to get out of jail, right? So it's like a no harm, no foul for Trump.
Exactly.
Yo, man, you got to take that taco out of the fucking title there, Jonathan.
Why is that, Grant?
That's not respectful, bro. I thought you were going to be respectful to our president.
That is respectful.
What's respectful about it? He's gained a bunch of Hispanic voters. Is that what you're suggesting?
Oh, that's funny, man. Ain't that dope?
All
That's
right.
a good one.
Yeah, he did gain a bunch of them, and a lot of them, a
Bro,
lot of, a
like,
lot.
let me ask you: if the midterms were right now, how bad would it be for the Democrats?
I
At a
don't think this has.
percentile, I'll say
I
about
don't.
40%.
I don't think this has to do about how bad this is going to be for the Democrats. It's how bad is it going to be for the American people.
Who is this person?
It's a patriot right there, Grant. You hear her?
No, but she's under the name of Jonathan. So who is she?
That's Colleen. That's the woman from last night, Grant. She's over on CH.
Dude, Colleen. Okay, get out of the animal house. Okay, come over to Chatter because nobody's going to
Will
respect
do.
you if you're coming up under
I will.
Jonathan.
I will. I will.
Come show Grant what a real patriot is.
Grant, I bought some of your NFTs. I know you. So, anyways,
But I don't have
well, your
NFTs. You ain't
brother your
bought.
brother did. Like your brother
My
did.
brother doesn't have
Grant
any
and
NFTs.
Snoop. Oh
My
no.
brother doesn't have any NFTs either. That's some bullshit.
She got caught.
Busted.
You on some bullshit. You ain't bought shit from me.
Is it a little monkey?
And
so,
if y'all think that's a patriot, well, that's ridiculous.
Oh,
so anyway, Grant. What do you think about that long tweet he did on Truth Social?
I might not have seen it. Let me go look it up.
Oh yeah, you gotta look it up.
Okay, let's
A
see.
couple hours ago,
The greatest that's ever done it. Let's see.
the greatest ever done it.
Oh yeah, dude. He's last name ever, bruh.
All right, there you go.
The U.S. Court of International Trade.
Read it. It's a long tweet. Read it,
That
Grant.
one. Yeah, about the U.S. Court of International
Yes,
Trade.
yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that his commitment and mandate by the voters of America is to make this country great again, and the court system needs to get out of this man's way. They've been weaponized before against him, and they're going to try to slow. They're going to try to slow him down.
Exercise balance of power, you mean?
And right now they're overwhelmed by the amount of action he's taken, so they're going to try to weaponize again, and they're going to all step on their dicks again, and they're going to further turn the American people against the real powers in this country are behind the scenes. They're not in the White House.
The deep state, you mean?
Yes,
Or what name do you use?
whatever you pick one. You know what I'm talking about.
What other yeah. So yeah, the people with the money behind the curtain.
Yeah, deep state. The 12 powerful ones, whatever you want to call it. Like,
You think he's
We're
gonna
going to be on
attack
the
Big Pharma?
Illuminati, Allie. It's going to be the Illuminati soon. Don't worry about it.
So well let's
et
talk Big
cetera, et
Pharma.
cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right,
All
Tara?
those freaking okay, we all have reptilian brains, but there's reptile aliens that are bad. They got to be running Big Pharma. You think this he's
Wait,
talking
wait, wait, wait,
PR
wait,
or he's gonna
SEC,
actually
see,
fight Big Pharma?
Yo, Ali, you hear my voice?
no,
We're
no,
not talking. We're not talking about
she was talking.
reptilians.
She was talking. You weren't.
No, bro, I don't care, Grant. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
well,
care,
then just
bro.
say that. Say
But
that. Say you
yeah,
don't
we
care
just
and you're
start
going
talking
to
about the
run over.
reptilian brains and all this other shit, man, and aliens and all that other shit. I don't do that here,
But why
You're
don't you?
not in the loop, man.
Yeah, bro. You don't think there's aliens on this planet?
bro. No, we're talking about news right now.
You don't think there's aliens on this planet, bro?
Point was about Big Pharma. Is it PR or is he actually going to fight Big Pharma? Because that's the deep state, probably, if there is one.
That's one of them. Big pharma,
Military complex.
FDA, military
Will he?
complex,
Will
the
he?
SEC,
Is he
the
going to spend
entire
money and give
the
weapons of
Fed,
Iran?
the FED, the Fed, the IRS. What are you guys? You guys are kidding, right? You're kidding. You don't believe that these groups are actually holding America back, taxing our citizens. You're working 40 and 50% of your year to pay taxes that go to no benefit of any of your people, your schools, your children, your food system, the water system, nothing. Nothing is improved because of taxes.
So we don't have
So,
streets, roads,
yeah,
none of
yeah.
that. We just
The federal government didn't fund one fucking street in this country.
the federal government does send the states funds. I mean, hurricanes. Do you see what's happening
The
now
federal
with
government is
FEMA?
not the state.
3 states have asked for federal funds for FEMA, and
Yeah,
Trump has turned them down.
that's because
So that's
he
okay.
should turn them down.
So you just said that the federal government doesn't do anything with those dollars, but you know that taxes were
Federal
basically
government, Mickey, as you know, is broke.
the
Okay, it
federal
needs to
government is no more broke than anyone else who leverages their cash to borrow money.
broke is broke.
Well, then why would we be cutting
You don't
programs?
compare levels of brokenness to other levels of brokenness to make sense of fucking brokenness.
I mean, then why would we put Donald Trump in place to take care of things when he was broke too? He's the man who inherited almost $500 million and managed to bankrupt several companies. And if he wasn't on social media telling people, you're fired, then he would basically be broke too. So then
No,
why
that's
did
not
y'all
true.
hire him to fix a problem that he
He's
couldn't fix for his damn self? That doesn't make any sense.
he's not broke. That's a lie that you're
Oh, so
telling.
he's not broke. What about
He's
all
not
those
broke.
loans he has?
He doesn't even have a debt problem. Okay, I
Doesn't
don't
have
know
a
if you
debt
know.
problem, then why
Excuse me,
weren't U.S.
Mickey, you're
banks
not
working
listening.
with him because he kept defaulting and he had to go overseas banks? That's why he had that little problem in Russia because no American bank would loan him money.
Yeah,
Do you know, Mickey,
Mickey,
how much he made on True Social?
Mickey,
Probably on
you don't
Trump
know
Coin. Is that
anything
He
reported?
about
just
Donald
made
Trump.
money on True Social after he became president. So what are we talking about? How are
Mickey,
Yeah,
you
I
a
think
fan?
if he made money on
How are
Trump
you a
Coin, it
fan
was
of Donald Trump,
before.
Allison, and you don't even know the man's history in
I
like
know the
New
Trump
York?
Coin
This is
price.
insane.
Mickey,
And don't talk over her, please.
Mickey, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no clue what Donald Trump's personal financial
Yes,
situation
I
looks.
do,
You
because
have
it's
no.
public record. What I know is that the man is notorious for not
What is
paying his
the?
bills in New York. He's notorious for not paying his bills in Florida. He does a lot of lawsuits. You know, he's personally been involved in over 1,000 lawsuits. Donald Trump's
More
taxes,
than that,
he has
actually.
over 1,000 LLCs. Like, that is insane. He
No,
actually
it's
has
insane
like
to you.
one
It's
of the
insane to you
most
because
Why can't
you
you
got a
let her
little mind.
finish? I don't understand.
well, then all of the money that he's
Why
made
can't
is
I let her
literally
finish?
no, all of the money that he's made is literally because of these wonderful institutions that you're now saying are worthless after he's made his billions and his father has made his money. So why would we get rid of them when they're literally the reason that he's able to have all this money? He went into real estate because of all the tax deductions because he's bankrupted several
That's not why he went
several
into real estate.
casinos.
That's stupid what you're saying. Everything you're
So
saying,
did he not get tax
you haven't
deductions?
said
Yes or
one thing
no?
that's true right
He's
now.
not even a patriot because he has more business overseas than he even has here in the United States. So what are we talking about?
No, what are you talking about?
What are we talking? Does he not have businesses overseas?
You're talking about a bunch of stuff. You're
Does
just
he not
accusing.
have businesses overseas? Didn't he just make
You're
an agreement to build a new facility in like Korea?
you're talking about
What are we
stuff
talking about? The
you have
dude
no.
literally does business overseas, and so does his son-in-law. The
So
money from the Saudis, but he's the patriot. Come on now.
uh,
What do you think "Make America Great Again" means? It doesn't mean destroy everything that you don't think is right with this country. You don't get the right to do that, and he's not a dictator. If he can't abide by the rules, then he needs to leave this country and not be president. Because that's not what a patriot would want to
okay,
dismiss
you
the great institutions that have
Hallelujah.
made this country
Hallelujah.
great. That is not how it
Hallelujah.
works.
Hallelujah.
hold your breath and hope for that to happen. All right.
Oh, well, we're
I
already
pray
seeing
for it.
have you not
See,
seen the
Johnson,
Republican
this is
town halls?
part
All
and
of the
parcel.
veterans, all of the teachers, all of the seniors. You know what? I'm old enough to get those little AARP emails, and you know what they say? Send a letter to your senators and tell the Republicans not to mess with Social Security. You mess with the seniors, you mess with the voterate in this country. Come
Okay.
midterms, you're going to see exactly what's going to happen to those Republicans who are not standing up for all those little old people that are driving their little golf carts to vote, and they're going to vote against them because mess with Social Security. Have the Republicans lost their ever loving freaking mind when all of these people are about to retire? Crazy. That is career and political suicide. Oh, well.
Mickey for
MAGA.
president.
Oh, stupido.
It sounded Dateline-ish. Miki, have you done the Dateline yet?
I'm not doing the Dateline anymore. The economy is bad. I can't do free labor. I need a cash app.
V2 is coming.
So anyway, once again, guys, no, listen to me. this taco policy, it works. Grant, it definitely works. He has chickened out on every opportunity. Uh,
Chicken shit, like chicken
yo,
tacos.
Colleen.
It is funny. You have to admit, okay, we all have to get a little humor.
No, what's not funny is you jumping in like that. That's what's not funny. So no, Grant, yeah, you have to look at it and see it for what it is. You know, the taco policy. Grant, yeah, that taco shit, bro. It
But
gets
you're
twisted.
laughing. You're laughing.
Yeah, I'm actually, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So yeah, it does bother him. Tara, he couldn't handle it. He
Well,
didn't
it
have.
was actually really funny because he literally just went back, well, it was 145, then I dropped it, whatever, then I did this, then I did that. You know, he was literally defining himself as a taco when he answered that question.
Yes.
And he was
Yep.
basically saying, I did this and then I dropped it. I did this and then I dropped it. It was crazy. If you listen to him, you'd see that he just literally was saying, I did this and then I immediately dropped it. No reason, just sort of because. So I think that question was, it was real, and it was clever the way she did it because she didn't say, are you a taco? She said, what do you think about the fact that people on Wall Street have been calling you a taco? And I don't think he actually understood that they had done this. I'm sort of convinced he didn't understand that phrase, and now he's probably really pissed.
I would think he's really pissed. I bet his blood pressure's really high right now.
Yeah, I think he's pissed. I think they're calling him a Mexican food product. And that's the one thing that will probably get under his skin more than anything, guys. So when you listen to Trump, when you listen to him, and so now you seen Grant how he responded to that word taco, right? So I love it. I love it. If he responded that way, I'm mad. That's what Trump's marching orders are. Imagine how Trump's going to respond to it. But here, I think that's going to hurt us in the long run because we have someone that's going to do something and he's not going to back down. And hopefully the court's going to have to step in and have him back down because he's going to want to show people that he's not a taco.
Well, if, I mean, look, this case will get to the Supreme, I read the ruling on the tariffs, and it's not an area I know much about. The court seemed to have a pretty good argument, but it's an interpretation of a statute argument, so other people can, it can go both ways, right? If in fact the Supreme Court upholds the tariff decision, in some senses, I wonder if Trump won't just sort of say, look, I wasn't able to do this, and then he moves on. And the economy sort of gets better because the tariffs have been a disaster anyway. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It might actually help him in a funny way.
You talking
I
about
totally, oops,
talking about with the
I
courts
totally
If
agree.
they
intervention?
basically say he can't do this tariff, he can't do the tariffs, right? He had no authority under the, what is it, IEEPA to issue these sort of tariffs or to impose these sort of tariffs. It's not the president's place. Congress didn't give him that authority, blah, blah, blah. It might be better for the economy, right? Because these tariffs have not been helpful. So I'm
Yeah, the
wondering,
taco trade is don't sell out of fear because
right, I'm just
it's
wondering
going
if
to
he
go
might
away.
not sort of just rail
I
against it,
understand what you're saying.
but be sort of secretly like, well, no, because I think he really believes in tariffs. But I don't know what he'll do. He might just sort of say, the courts have stopped me. This is terrible. They're ruined. And then he'll move on. I don't know.
Tara, I read it.
And if
I
the
couldn't
market,
believe how many exclamation points there were in that decision. I don't think I've seen a court issue a ruling with exclamation points like this one did. But I agree with you. I think that he's going, if it goes up to SCOTUS or when it goes up to SCOTUS and they come back with another no against him, he's just going to, claim that the judiciary can't do this and he can. And then he'll just fade away from this issue onto something else and yell and scream.
So what do you think about the ruling, Shauna? Like in terms of like it's solid because you said you spoke about exclamation points. What do you think they're on solid ground?
I do, based on, the law that they applied. I actually do. What I was just so surprised is, there's a certain way to write in the legal world. Whether it's a contract, whether it's a brief, whether it's a ruling, and I've just never seen so many exclamation points. And it's not like just one after a sentence. There was one sentence that had five. Um, so I was not surprised by the ruling at all. I figured that was what was going to happen based on the law that they were using and their justification. So I agreed with it. Um, you know, SCOTUS has surprised us this year, I think. They've come out with quite a lot against him that not everybody realizes, but hold on to your belt loops or your bootstraps, because everything starts coming out on Tuesday from all the hearings that they've had this term. All their decisions are going to start coming out. And correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think it's gonna come out Tuesday. I think it's gonna come out
N-
next
no, I'm
some.
saying all
So
the
about the Supreme
ruling.
Court. You talk about Supreme Court. I think this is like the second. Well, they start coming out like the like only a few come out like early, but the third week of the month is when they really drop all their rulings, right? Tara.
Right. But I'm saying some are going to start coming out next week, and then more the following, and then more the following. I'm just saying, and some of them have nothing to do with Trump. I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of rulings coming out. So, we're going to really get an idea of how the Supreme Court is leaning on a lot of issues.
I don't think we can make assumptions about the Supreme Court. I think they are truly worried about due process. That's been clear from their rulings against Trump, like three. And they're worried about the fact that he's sending people away without giving them due process.
You
That's
surprised me, Tara. You surprised me.
what do you mean?
Because I'm tell you why you surprised me because you're right. I think they're concerned about that, but I think you think that the court's not worried about self preservation, okay, and just the fact that he has come after the judicial branch and that they need to establish. I mean, like when Trump he slaps the hell out of the judicial branch every chance he get, and our legislative branch whenever he gets, okay. Now, to assert his dominance, and they have to fight back. So
But
you're
even
saying
after that, okay, but this is why I don't agree with you. Even after that, if you read the case about the two agency heads that he was allowed to remove, right? I mean, it's a temporary ruling, I get that, but they basically said that they are not a big fan of these so-called independent agencies, and so they allowed him to remove those two heads of them, right? That was a big victory for Trump because, and if it's extrapolated to other agencies, not the Fed, but other agencies, it will be a big win for for the executive power. And I still feel like there is an appetite. Look, just yesterday, didn't they limited the ability of the agency to impose certain rules in terms of the EPA. I mean, I think, I don't know. I just sort of feel like they're not pulling back on the fact that I think the executive has huge authority or more authority than many of us thought. But I think there are some areas they're worried about. And I think that's birthright citizenship. I think that's, due process. And I suspect it's going to be a misuse of some of these legal processes. I wouldn't be surprised if they ruled in favor of the Court of International Trade on tariffs. But, that one I have to wait and see on. I wouldn't be surprised because it seems to be a fairly well-reasoned decision. I'm pretty sure, quite frankly, when the circuit court actually looks at the merits of the case, all they did was temporarily stay the stay, so to speak. I think they're going to find in favor of the Court of International Trade. Because, it's a well-reasoned, long, decent opinion based upon statutory interpretation that seems to have quite a basis in the law. I could be wrong. It's, like I said, it's not, Shauna, I don't know if you know this area at all, but it's not, all I know is from reading the case.
I don't know this area very well at all. But I, like you, as soon as these rulings come out, I get, well, you all know I get the notifications. And today was a day where I decided I was going to read it. And I think it was a really good brief or opinion. Very well written, very logical. And
Very not partisan. This was a Trump judge.
I
This is
know.
a Reagan judge, an Obama judge, and it was unanimous.
Yep.
And that's part of, when Grant comes on and says, oh, the judiciary is standing in his way. No, the judiciary is doing its job. People who think the judiciary is standing in the way are actually not being patriotic, because what they're saying is, we don't want anything that would not allow Donald Trump unfettered power. No, we do. We want the judiciary to weigh in on whether the president is doing the wrong things. We want that. We should want that. If we don't want that, then let's ask those people, why wouldn't they want that?
Tara and Shauna, would this have anything to do with like that court of international trade, like with the reversal for Chevron doctrine? Like, would that fall into that, or am I just it's not
No,
like
no,
a federal
no.
agency, it's something different?
No, it was something, it's just an interpretation of the law. There was no agency action here that the courts did not give deference to and interpreted them their own. No, I don't think so. Because this is just an EO. This is just a president doing it. He's not doing it through an agency, he's just sort of doing it, right? And what they're saying is the law itself, Congress has this authority, and they did not delegate it to the president under this law. So I don't think Chevron deference or doctrine was involved here at all.
They didn't even
Okay, thank
reference
you.
it. They didn't even reference it. So I definitely agree with what Tara just said.
I don't think it's really relevant, though. I mean, I think they made it quite clear where they stand.
Jonathan,
Well,
They did, they
and I
also
think
did
it's
say
funny and
he
it's
has other
sad.
mechanisms. He can
Funny
kind
and sad.
What's going on here, guys?
oh, I was just going to ask you. You had said that you thought the Supreme Court is was worried about themselves because of him, and they may rule certain ways. I was curious why you thought that when the Supreme Court is not touchable.
No, I didn't say they're touchable. What I was saying is that in terms of him saying, and I'm not talking about the Supreme, I'm talking about the judiciary branch within itself, where he says he doesn't have to follow court necessarily have to follow lower court rulings, okay, and that he only they don't have the authority to issue injunctions, and that only can come from the Supreme Court. All right, so once again, the judiciary. So and how he's been attacking judges um, and judges' rulings. So I think they have to try to reel him back in, and I think what gave him the confidence to do that is that immunity ruling that they provided. So without that, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. You know, it's gonna be pretty interesting to see where this is heading. I mean, we're 4 months in.
It's
Uh,
a horse without guardrails, running
Jesus
a
Christ.
crazy horse running without guardrails.
Thank you for the clarification, Jonathan. I appreciate it. And I agree. I mean, he does keep attacking. He, and it's now become that he's attacking both Republican appointed and Democrat appointed judges, but he's just going to keep attacking because that's what he does, you know?
Yeah, he did that his first administration when they didn't find, any evidence of the election being stolen. Because if I recall, Chief Justice John Roberts had to issue, like a stern warning the last time. But he attacks the Fed. He can't get rid of Jerome Powell despite him. I don't know what the reason, if he actually thought he was going to convince gangster Jerome Powell to do anything, because I love Jerome's statements. They're filled with shade, especially after he met with Trump. Trump finally, asked him to the White House. Like it's just it's like watching a rat in a maze that they can't get out of, and they just keep going around in circles. But all this optics, I guess it matters to whatever of his supporters don't understand or don't care what's already in place that contributed to making this country great. But it is annoying, to be perfectly honest. I can't imagine what other world leaders are thinking, looking at us, knowing that they know our laws better than we do.
Miki, is that you on Chatter?
Yepers.
Yeah,
AGA.
this is GA. I personally have such a love affair with Jerome Powell. Personally, I think he's the most gangster person in Washington. He just really don't care. He's gonna do his job. I love him. I
I
literally
love him
love
too.
him.
So
He is such a gangster.
solid.
He is literally one of my favorites. And, we don't want the Fed chair to be engaged in politics. Jerome Powell is probably one of the few authentic people that we have in a role like that. He's concerned about lower and middle income America. He's not concerned about wealthy people. He's not concerned about the 1%. He's not concerned about any of those people. And when he just states what he says, and I love how he's also very honest with people without trying to gaslight them. Like, we're not sure how these tariffs are going to impact inflation. Full stop. So we're not going to do anything until that point. Full stop. So yeah,
He
that's
is
why I coined him Gangster Jerome Powell because he literally
exactly.
does not give a f right
He
at
is
all.
he's so unfazed.
Solid
He
as a rock.
He is so unfazed. He is not bothered. He doesn't pay attention to politics. He is so unfazed. And I love the fact that he is fully measured. He knows the weight of his words. He doesn't, like you said, he doesn't gaslight anybody. He doesn't go too far out there on the left or the right. He's very measured and he thinks long term. And I personally, this is just my personal opinion, hadn't had a conversation. I think it pisses him off. And personally, I enjoy it, Mickey.
He's the real president here.
I
As
would love for him to run for president. Actually, he reminds me of
no,
the other Powell, like,
Clay,
the youngins.
Colin.
Yes, they may not remember how Colin Powell was. And I remember Colin Powell's daughter saying at some point, my father is used to being listened to, right? My father is, my little aside is, he was what Diddy thinks he is. But, she said he would never run for president because he's not used to negotiating. When he issues an order, he expects for it to be executed. And Jerome Powell, as I love to remind people, was appointed by Trump in his first administration. And Jerome Powell is a rhino. He is a very conservative, traditional Republican, an old guard Republican, which means he is also going to be fiscally conservative, which is absolutely what we need. We just heard Grant say that the country is in debt. I mean, maybe potato, potato, but do we really want someone such as Donald Trump, who is not known for being fiscally conservative, even in his personal life, even in his professional life? And all of a sudden now we think that when he has access to the trillions of dollars in GDP or just potential numbers that is the mighty United States, that is just going to flip. The dude is like 80 years old. He hadn't changed a goddamn thing. He's been bad with money his entire life. He's just had it. So I just think it's frankly hilarious that all of these so-called Republicans now are magats, and Donald Trump is like the most fiscally irresponsible Republican president we have ever had in our entire lives. And I'm just tired of Republicans screwing up the economy, and then here come the Democrats, which of course, throw money at issues, but then it's just like we're in this vicious circle. So it's just annoying at this point. Like, we just got to do better as a country. I'm quite frankly tired of gaslighting both of these parties. Like, we need people that are just not idiots. And if back to the old guard, like in the 50s and the 60s, at least if you're going to have your you know personal the things that you want to accomplish, can you at least do it under the table so that we don't have to know about it and be embarrassed about it? Like, it's just too much at this point.
We
Bring
need
me
good
back to
leadership. Like
Napoleon.
Trump would never, could never, and will never beat Ronald Reagan. I mean, there's a big difference between the two. And it's funny how he actually talks about Ronald Reagan, and he will never beat him because he's just not, he doesn't care about the American people. I mean, just his actions alone. Ronald Reagan is probably turning over right now in his grave right now. This is the true Republican Party. When you go back to it, the Republicans, I believe in them. I'm a Republican at heart, but this administration is not even a party in itself. It's authoritarian and it's very corrupt.
Bring me back the age of Tip O'Neill. Those, the good negotiating, behind the closed doors and in committee meetings and not trying everything in the press. I miss those days. I really do. While I didn't
By
agree
the
with
way,
some of the
two
things,
people just now advocated for lack of transparency is a good thing because what we could know as the truth is so depressing or whatever that you just prefer to have it hidden behind
Austin,
closed
I don't
doors.
really appreciate like hearing that he's making a trillion. He's making a shitload of money off these crypto tokens, as well as also I really don't. I'm not going to even have a conversation about this. Also, the plane. I mean, please. Like, I mean, these are facts that actually are real and legitimate. So I don't even want to discuss it at this point because no other president would have done this, and no one, and it shouldn't occur because he could have done this after the fact. It's all real. I mean, there's a respect, responsibility when you are leading our country, and he's failed to do that.
Yeah, but I did not mind back in the day when things were transparent and weren't transparent. Because guess what? They're not transparent now. I mean, this is my conservative by birth side coming out. But I remember my grandfather, who passed away when I was in high school many decades ago, was the smartest man I ever met. Despite him only being allowed to go to school to the fifth grade before he was forced to go work on the railroads when he was 10 years old, and this was back in the day in southern Louisiana, he said the masses are inherently stupid, Miki. And I always want you to remember that. What is popular is rarely what is profound or what is right. And what are you going to do about it anyway? So you're sitting at home on your little $1,200 cell phone as you rail about the cost of eggs, right? Going to buy your $200 ugly ass Jordans and your tacky ass Louboutins and PVC $5,000 handbags while you've got a mortgage and 29.99% credit card debt, right? While you're financing the soft life and arguing with people about going 50-50 on your relationships. What are you going to do about it? What if you hear that Putin pretty much has a PP tape against Donald Trump and that's why he's making all these decisions? What are you going to do about it?
I think people are moving.
I'm not finished with my rant. Goofy, random, lazy American. You're not going to do a damn thing. You're going to go on social media. You're going to make a post. It's going to be a very strong, fervent, I'm a patriot post. This is wrong. You're going to type and put some emojis and a little meme in there. And then you're going to get off IG and feel really good about yourself and spend way too much on DoorDash or go to Whole Foods and feel really good about yourself, because you're spending $20 on toothpaste that's organic, even though you haven't been to the doctor in 3 years. That's Americans. Nobody takes you seriously. You're not going to do a damn thing. You're literally faced with a dictator right now. And guess what? You're not doing a damn thing but complaining about it. And I'm tired of all of y'all.
Nikki, I think people are moving out of the country.
Bring me Ronald Reagan, bring me Kissinger, bring me O'Neill, bring me all of them mother suckers because I don't want to hear about it. I really don't. I don't. I'm tired. Tired of all of y'all.
Then go get rest.
Why do I have to leave? No, this is my country. My people were here before this damn country was even formed.
I didn't say leave. I said get rest. I just said get rest.
I'm resting because I'm on my $1,400 iPhone doing the same thing. I just laugh about it. That's all. I don't take myself so seriously. I mean, the country elected a crackhead. Well, it must be because we're a country of crackheads. So sometimes you just got to acknowledge that.
No, we're a country of ignorance. Like that's the voters that voted for Trump voted a lot based on ignorance, and they, thought that he, would do better, and they didn't look at the historical past that he's had, which is failure. He's made money off using the judicial system to actually make money, and that's how he knows how to work the world.
I'm already following you, Colleen.
But we didn't care about that. Nobody cared that he was a grifter. He's been a grifter.
But why didn't no one care? I cared. I knew about the 16. I knew this about a decade ago. I know all about Trump. Trust me, I know a lot about this whole situation. I learned a lot about the judicial system in a hard way, and it's not pleasant when you learn how money speaks in the judicial system. Period. But when you learn it well, and you understand what's going on. And that is exactly what's going on, and it has been going on. But people, that happened in 2016, and we voted ignorance actually helped him get nominated into this position. And I had hoped that he would be grateful that he got a second chance and he would do better this
You
time.
might want to go a
And
little
now
bit
look
away
what we
from your
have.
mic because there's a really strong buzz. We want to hear what you're saying.
But see, that's the
I
problem,
thought,
Colleen. And you know what else I'll tell you? For certain people of privilege, even though you don't know you have privilege, my ancestors have looked upon this happening in this country before. So I'm not going to lie. I'm cool with you, but I'm also silently laughing at all of these people with all of this outrage. How is this happening in this country? Justice being a travesty? Oh, really? Been there, done that, read the book, read the other book, read the other book, read the documentary.
That
well,
you
Nikki,
said
You
Nikki,
don't
alone.
know.
Oh wait,
You
I
I'm
don't
almost
know
understand
done with
that.
this rant.
Colleen, and
I
she
promise I'm
may
almost
she
done with
may
this rant. I am so sorry that y'all are just now realizing that everything is not as rosy and lovely in this country as you thought it was. I am so sorry that it seems like such a surprise that people can buy
wait.
out
Can you?
judges.
Okay, you
Boo
don't need to talk to me like I'm
hoo.
your pet dog. Wait, I
I'm
want
not
to
even talking to
comment.
you. I said
I know, but I
Colleen.
wanted to jump
See,
in.
there's that privilege again. I'm not even talking to you, child.
Hold on, just a second.
No,
Whoa,
who are you
whoa,
telling to hold
whoa,
on? And
whoa.
Colleen and I were having a conversation, Karen. This is not about you. See, there's that privilege again. So you need to suffer some
I actually
more.
wanted to jump
Eggs
in
need
on
to
the
be
comment about
$25 a damn
privilege.
dozen just for you, lady. As a matter of fact, I hope they go up to 100 before you learn your goddamn lesson. See? Sodom and Gomorrah ass. It's your fault. It's your fault.
Well, do you guys could compete for ad libs? I was just gonna say, I think you made an assumption, and Colleen, like me, may very well understand that privilege is connects to skin, which I can't rip off every day. So I think you made an assumption, and you should ask her before you assume she doesn't understand the basic concept of what privilege means if you were referencing her whiteness.
Look at here, Karen, and you should ask me if I give a good goddamn before you go on your little speech and attempt to wag your finger at me. And
Hey,
I don't, by
Nikki,
the way.
Nikki,
Hey, Colleen, we're cool,
I,
boo.
I know you are. Like, you're cool. Like, but like, I understand and I respect
I
your,
respect you too,
I
boo.
really do. And so, and thank you. Like, so I appreciate, like, so the conversation. So, and that's why I come into these rooms. And it's kind of hard for me because I understand, like, that it's hard for people. And I do come back here because I think people need to be more knowledgeable about the reality of the situation. And that's why I've been, as much as, people make judgments in these rooms, I'm here because I don't care what color your skin is. Like, I don't. I'm not of that nature. So, I mean, you guys might care about my skin color. That's fine. Like, I mean, I don't care either. Like, but I just want people to be more knowledgeable. And I want to make sure that people don't go through what I went through in 2008 and 2009.
No, Colleen, I appreciate your shares. Um, you remind me of Lena Lovegood in Harry Potter, and she was just a sweetheart. But anywho, I've been acting up, y'all, and I'm supposed to be being good. So
You've been the
let me
best
go
part of the
back and
room tonight.
lament the state of America while I drink from my $30 Ralph Lauren Polo mug and my Starbucks coffee from my overpriced Keurig with my Saratoga water.
Can we please get Colleen to back up a little bit from her mic?
Please, it's killing us.
It is a
I tried
struggle over
twice.
here on CA.
Okay, so I have a couple of headsets. Okay, so I'm not actually, I could just order a new one. So please let me know. I should check them out. So I apologize if I'm
Play
yelling
some of
because
those
I
clips.
don't know exactly how this
Please.
sounds. So I apologize. Thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we heard none of that. So I I hope you got the message. Just back up. We want to hear what you have to say.
That or her husband's a very lucky man, and I just want to
Stop
make sure
it.
that that's
Stop
the
it.
only thing I contribute
Stop
to the
it.
day.
Stop it, Thomas.
She can't back up if she's wearing headphones. If we want to be effective, can you get rid of the headphones and talk into the telephone?
Hush,
Switch.
Karen.
Yes.
Nobody asked you. Stop it, Karen.
Stop
Good
muting me.
morning,
My God.
everybody. This is a nice, freaky, wacky Friday morning freak show. I enjoy it. I just love this conversation. Thank you all.
Is there like a drink limit minimum over there at Chatter, or is just me? Because I don't know. I feel like I'm missing out right now. Oh,
Bruh.
polo mug, the
Mickey
polo
gets
mug.
dopamine hits. She doesn't even need boost. She gets dopamine hits from ad lib, like just a
Why?
string of them.
Why is my name in your mouth, ma'am?
It's funny.
Maybe because you just
Why is my
drag my
name in your
ass
mouth?
around
You
in
know what,
circles for like
Jonathan?
2 minutes straight. That's probably a good way
I
to
don't
get me to
know.
put your name
I don't
in
know
my
if you
mouth.
know how you're coming up across right now,
Pause.
but it's very disrespectful. Please stop.
Who's
To write
disrespectful?
Not
down some of
Mickey.
these, like,
Whoever
why
is
is my
interrupting
name in your
her.
mouth? That's a funny quote, actually. I'm going to quote that.
Mickey, I do agree with you 1,000%. I
I do
do
as well.
find I do sit with you in the state of humor of oh gosh, is it tough for you now? Is it hard?
Boo
Oh,
hoo.
here's my tiny violin. I have the t-shirt and the coaster. I mean, it's laughable at this point. It is extremely laughable that oh, it got tough. Oh, boo-hoo. I'm
Who
really
are you
sorry.
talking about? You talking about me because I came off the
I'm not talking.
microphone?
I didn't call anybody's name, dear. I really didn't. I didn't. I
I
didn't say
am.
anything.
I will.
You go
Well,
ahead,
actually,
Doctor
he said
Jen.
Mickey. To be fair enough, he did
Yeah,
say
I
Mickey,
yeah,
so I
but
have
I
no idea
was
why not Mickey isn't commenting. It's kind of weird because I swear I heard you say
yeah, I
Mickey,
did.
and I'm still tripping over Mickey's like polo cup that she apparently goblet, or is it a chalice, Mickey?
Oh
And
No,
no,
so
it's a
It's a
little.
goblet.
coffee mug. Yes, they have
oh,
polo coffee mugs, y'all. They are so cute. You can get them at ralphlauren.com.
and
Mi-
since
I don't
Mickey
have a,
be
a 5% off link, so,
Mickey, you
but
supposed to be
anyhow,
saving.
they're adorable.
Mickey, you're supposed to be saving your coins.
Oh, Shauna, gosh darn it. Oh wait, I got this like 4 years ago. Ha ha. See,
and since
I'm
nobody
doing good,
can
Shauna.
see the chat,
Hey,
and
Shauna.
and since no one can see the chat from Chatter, we all agree with you, Mickey, and we all support you.
Yay, look at DTN bringing people together, liberal, conservative, confused, and we don't give a good goddamn. Look at God. God bless America.
Thank God for Pope Leo the 14th.
Yes, Pope Leo, that Creole man who doesn't want to be Creole. Shout out to Pope Leo.
From Chicago, from the United States of America. Love that.
Yes. Colleen, we're going to be good friends, aren't we? Leo the Creole. I can assure you all, if you are not familiar with me, hi, since no one else is speaking, I am still somewhat in a good mood. It is 11:57 p.m. Central where I am, and I can assure you that I am not taking any alcoholic beverage, and I'm too scary to try weed. So this is just high on life.
Not high on life. I am
Lord
dead.
help me. Y'all are going to have to pray for me in September.
Whatever it takes.
Yep, you'll have it's three minutes till midnight. 3 minutes till midnight. The freaks come out at night. Okay, I'll stop.
So, um,
Nephew, you
yeah,
missed it. We talked about that rant that he put on True Social, and you missed it. It was a good
but
conversation.
I hate,
Grant
but
came in.
is the thing is, I hate when mommy and daddy fight. You know, they both came into the office together. One had the political, the other one had the money. The other one was a big enough whore to sell out the American people for that person. The other one watched his company tank, and then, from that point on, now the girls are fighting. It's just like Clubhouse all over again. And now we're stuck with this big, ugly ass bill that's just going to give mommy more power, and I just honestly don't know how to feel about it. But I am enjoying calling broke people and hearing how all of a sudden they're fucking because apparently, hey, did you know, fun fact, apparently not a lot of black people are on welfare. There's a lot of people mid state. It's the weirdest shit, right?
It was shocking for me to find that out. Shocking.
No. And they're crying right now because their little benefits and cuts and snaps all been cut the fuck off. Like the water bill was due 2 years ago.
Oh, Thomas, I have missed you so.
What's going on, Shauna? How you doing, man? I said hi to you in the chat, by the way.
Is Thomas on
No,
chatter?
he's over here with us in on CH.
We need him.
Should I go back to Clubhouse?
No.
Y'all leave my friend alone. She's under the Mickey Protection Program.
Yes, on Chatter. The one of the greatest apps that's out right now. Make sure you guys go ahead and download the link on top. And when y'all know we had to close, me and Unc had to close the room down. We literally had flat Earth. Uncle was arguing with flat earthers.
It was ugly. It was really ugly.
It's one of those things where it's like,
Okay, I can only
Okay, so
do
I,
that.
I do really honestly, I want to ask you guys. So, are they going back to the Supreme Court regarding the tariffs tomorrow? Is that true or false? I haven't heard the updates. Could someone give me an update? I would appreciate that.
I think, what is it? No, the blanket tariffs were just proven to be illegal. I think California lead the way. I just listened to Gavin Newsom take a victory fucking lap on
Oh,
BTC right now. Talking about they were the first one to sue Trump. Our ports are empty as shit, so we're just waiting for the last supply that Walmart has for everybody's thing to go empty. But hey, remember to pay more if you're going to pay higher prices. It's more American from the South African that told us
Yeah,
that wanted to outsource
nephew,
jobs.
I actually saw for my own eyes at Santa Monica that there are no ships. They're not there.
There,
They're
there,
not there.
there's none in Oakland either, which is a huge port that I look out on. And
I'm in the Bay Area as well. Where's Nora? Nora is a hate. Like she hates
I don't know
California
why.
and Governor Newsom. She, yelled at
Yeah,
me last night and the night before, and it's
But that has nothing to do with like you can hate my state. That's fine. We're the fourth largest economy in the fucking world. The problem that you
that's what
have
I
is
said. I said that last night. Nora,
yeah.
who's on this room, like yelled at me. I'm like, we're the fourth largest economy. I don't hate the state. I live in California. I believe we're going to be just fine. But this is not acceptable for the country. And that's where I get angry about. So Nora was on this call last night and the night before, and she lives in California. She can't stand Gavin Newsom. She clearly like communicated that to me, and and I just think it's really, where is she right now? Because it's funny that she's not
please don't
here
call her. Please
right
don't call
today.
her. It's like saying, if you say her name one more time, it's like saying Beetlejuice. Do not call her.
Well, it's. I think at this point we're just ignoring the facts because I mean,
I
like
don't
I
know the girl, like the lady. I'm sure she's
no.
like,
Well,
but
hold
she's
on.
so angry. And the
We're
thing is,
gonna.
we have to
But
keep the
hold
economy
on.
going. That's the whole thing.
Well,
Is let's not be stupid. Let's not be idiots. This is a real, like, this is gonna seriously impact every like state in the. That's the whole thing. California provides more money to other states in FEMA. That's the whole thing. The amount of like destruction that is going on. People don't understand the level of which this is happening. We need, like, so we need to do this wisely, and I'm glad to see that this, and she's not here today. That's the funny thing, is she, clearly attacked me last night, and I just didn't have the voice and or energy to deal with her because she's ignorant. I mean, you have to make sure that our economy, people are going to be able to move forward. You can't just kill things. This is not appropriate at all, what's happened.
Well, for all of us that know her for years, none of that surprises me, and I'm sorry that she
well,
affected you so deeply.
well, it's one of those things. Like, she's not in the room, so I just rather we move the conversation forward because I mean we have people thinking that the ports being empty is a fucking joke, and that if you don't think logistic commands from one of the largest economies in the world is not going to trickle down to whatever podunk state you live in, is to me is just fucking amazing. So it's like, I mean, I recently went over the Vincent Thomas Bridge and I didn't see any boats there. What I did find out actually yesterday was that we had 6 or 7 massive cancellations from freighters that are supposed to dock at our ports. You know, so it's literally one of those aspects too where, we can keep joking about this shit, but even the threat from about tariff wars, that's truly effective. And unfortunately, at this time, it's going to affect the rest of the logistic command, because here's a little fun fact: everything on the Western Seaboard, at least I know 60 or 70% of it comes from Long Beach itself, but the ports are empty. So the fact that, I think, what did you put in the chat, Dr. Denny, like pre-COVID, yeah, we're going to be back to COVID status right now, and not because
Yeah,
of
I've already stocked up, and I'm helping others. It's no joke. I mean, let them laugh, but when the time comes, they won't be laughing.
This is worse than pre-COVID. Do you understand that, right? I mean, this is not even, you can't even consider this at the level of pre-COVID. We actually, the damage that is being done to the United States of America is not, you can't take it back. You're
I do
never going to get
understand that.
back. You got trust. When you, like, just think about your family. When you trust someone
Don't
and they
try,
don't,
Dr. Jen.
you
Don't
have
try.
a hard time earning their trust back. Just think about just the small, that's the thing, is you have to be realistic about this. When you actually hurt and you call like Ukraine, like they started the war with Russia, that was completely false narrative. I mean, when you make these statements, which are complete lies, abruptly, claiming that like the white Africans, are being killed in, West Africa, and they bring him over and he shows a video of people from not even from there. I mean, you have to understand, other countries are mocking, laughing. It is a whole, it's an opportunity for all countries to exceed other than us.
I have a question. What do you guys suggest we do about this? What's
He
the
needs
answer
to
to solve the
go. Like
problem?
we need. I think that question is the greatest question I've heard. I don't want to hear people yelling about this. It needs to stop. I don't think we can handle it 3 years, because you have never seen a recession, a depression, a Great Depression. We have never seen a Great Depression. This is not COVID. This is he's not going to be sending anyone stimulus checks. I mean, anyone that thinks that is fucking nuts. That's
Colleen,
the whole thing, is like, we don't
Colleen,
have the money. And
One
then the tariff
Colleen,
second.
tax,
you're
we're going to
yelling.
go to war. So we need to think about what can we do about it.
You know what you can do? One major thing, and I've been working in advocacy and this, I mean, we all have in many ways. Your dollars speak. Take part in the boycotts, and that will be a huge step. Will it fix everything? No, absolutely
I
not.
don't, actually, in this day and age, I
Please
don't think
stop.
boycott's the
Please
only way
stop.
to go. I think it needs to be better than that and
It,
smarter than that.
all right,
And I think that
oh
we
my
need to
God.
step it up, because in this day and
But
now,
you
I'm
do
being
not
serious.
listen.
So boycott, some of that stuff, boycotting, I think it's great, but I think it needs to be boycotting like companies that people don't go to work, like something of that nature. It needs to be more serious, to another level, to make him understand the amount of, this is not acceptable.
Of
So
course it's
that's the thing,
not.
is that, like, the tariff wars are not a way. It's not capitalism at the best. This is unacceptable. We are creating. We will retrieve as an economy because of this. Harvard people will not be coming here. We will not get the best minds. We've already cut off medical, like, innovation for cancer research. It's a fact. You can't like just restart it again. It is reality. And
But
this is the damn.
can you wait one
So we need
second?
to do something bigger and better than just doing protest. And
Listen,
that's
I'm
what
not
I'm
talking
saying.
about
So talk
protesting.
about it. Let's make it serious. And I'll leave you with that to think about. I don't
Okay,
want an answer right now.
I'm
And
not
I'm not
giving you an
asking for an answer,
answer.
because it
Okay?
needs to be
You're saying
bigger,
things that we
broader,
know already.
stronger, because this is not acceptable. Because it's going to affect everyone in ways that you will never,
ever like.
Do
And the
you,
thing is,
can I
it's
ask
not
you a question
acceptable
very
because
quickly? Can I
five
ask
months
you a
ago,
question? I
6 months
thought you were
ago,
going to
we were
mic up.
fine.
Do you really? I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna mic up. Do you really think that we don't all know, or the majority of us do not realize, that if tomorrow Trump was gone, we still have probably a decade before we could fix anything? No one is
That's
saying,
fine. That's totally fine. We can manage that.
"Oh my
We
God."
have the biggest, best universities. This is unacceptable. That's what my point is. What we have the we've had the best economy to bring the brightest people. We are innovators. That's how we actually created this global economy. We can fix that with the right appropriate people that are leading us. That is a fact. But this is no way. If we don't bring innovation, if we cannot create innovation, our GDP is going to go down. It went down. Our unemployment rate is going to come. I think in 2 weeks, it's going to go down. The GDP rate, it's going to go down. The innovation, people are not going to come here anymore. Do you understand that? The reality of that. We have to make sure that we continue that because that is how you that is, people don't appreciate or and understand how the United States has become the world's leading economy. And that is how we've become. But Trump doesn't care because, the demise of the economy, is also beneficial for people that have a lot of money because they can buy property. They can let people, people will, that's the whole recipe. And if you don't see it, I'm sorry, but I mean, I can't really express that anymore anyway, again, because it makes me sick. Because if you don't see the recipe in reality at this time, then you're just being completely ignorant. Because the idea is to bring the dichotomy of like the levels of and I'll be fine. Like I don't worry about, but I worry about other people, and it's wrong. It's so sick, and it's inhumane, and it's inhumane to the United States American people is what it is. And that's the whole thing is, have you heard one thing out of Trump, like the administration, that has been promising to you in the last 6 months? I don't want to answer from you guys, but I want you to think about that. Because, when you look at leadership, you want them to give you, inspire you, to give you promise, to look forward for the future, to have a strategy, to a plan that you see in the future. And he has done nothing. There's no end. He has no plan. It's
Colleen?
Anybody else want to jump in?
Yeah,
Anybody
please.
else?
I just wanted to jump in because, as most of you all know, I live on the East Coast, and being back in the country, of course, I flew over our port, which is the seventh largest port, and we're dead empty. And to the point that Colleen was making, this is the issue that I don't think that I think that a lot of people don't understand, that there was a large portion of our country that believes still to this day that this is the best course of action. So while we can rail and bemoan and antagonize over the atrocities that this administration is actually doing, and we can say we're going to protest or whatever we're going to do, go vote the right people in place, blah, 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 whatever we're going to do. We cannot ignore the fact that there are working class Americans who are citizens that vote, that want this. And until we deal with that part, we will never ever move forward. We keep ignoring that. There are people that want this. There are people that think this is a good idea. There are Americans that have a voter registration that believe it's going swimmingly well. So until we deal with that, it doesn't matter whether it's Trump, whether it's Stephen Miller, whether it's Stephen Bannon, or whether it's Snoopy or Woodstock. It doesn't matter. There's people that like this. They enjoy kicking people out. They enjoy doing what's happening. They enjoy taking benefits from people who need them. They enjoy kicking people off healthcare. This is what they want.
Well, at least Bannon
So
has some respect for certain
let's
aspects, which
deal with
he
that.
doesn't
Hold
believe
on,
should be
Colleen.
happening.
Hold on for a
Bannon,
second,
actually,
Colleen.
I have more respect
Hold,
for these days.
Colleen, hold on for a second. So my only point is this: if we want to talk about what we're going to do, instead of actually slapping another politician into that place and not dealing with the people that actually like this, and Rachel, to your point, it's the majority of them that are losing benefits, not Democrats. So until we deal with that, this country will always have this open wound. I'll close my mic.
Well, if I may, I have a different opinion. If you are here in Silicon Valley in California and see what China, India, and many other countries are doing to us, the grand theft of intellectual property costs the US economy and American businesses $400 billion every year, China alone, another $300 billion from India. So that's close to $1 trillion grand theft of our intellectual property, our research, our creativity. So why should we care about China, India, Russia, and all these places at the expense of hardworking American scientists, technologists, technicians, engineers, and so forth? So
Because we don't have a cyber division actually anymore because they actually
that is
cut it
incorrect.
off. They
No,
no, I mean, I'm
that's
going to answer this
incorrect.
question.
No,
No, no,
Colleen, let him finish first. Let him complete. Let him
That
finish. Thank
that's
you.
incorrect. I know these things very well. So that's incorrect. We have extremely cybersecurity. What we had in the past was not working, was outdated. What the new administration did, or the current administration did, is upgrading this and make it more precise and more concise. Those are two different things. We were providing national security for other countries, cybersecurity for other countries. We're protecting other nations at the expense of American interest. So that's the right thing to do. For many, many generations, these foreign countries
okay,
have
so
been
where's
taking
CISO?
advantage of
Where's our
us.
CISO? Who's protecting us from cyber security right now?
The Homeland Security, the
Oh
National
no, but
Security Agency.
but they actually fired the CISO security. We
No,
have
ma'am,
no cyber
these
security.
are
No, it's a
incorrect.
fact. Look it up. I'm sorry, I don't know if you're Jonathan, but it's a fact. So when you
I'm not
say this,
Jonathan. I
you're
don't know
full.
what.
You're just this is propaganda in itself
There's
because
not
you're
a
not making.
propaganda,
This is not a fact.
ma'am.
There.
You're
We have
being
no cyber like security in the government at this
incorrect.
point.
What
So
you're
when you
saying
say this,
is
it's like,
incorrect. We're
dude,
more
like that's the
secure than ever.
problem.
We're more secure than ever. It's a
And
light secure
why do you say that then? How do I
because
know
I'm
that?
in
I mean,
business and
why
I
would
know
you
what
feel
I'm
these
telling you
incompetent
about.
people have fired our so? No, I don't believe any of it. Look at
You
our
don't
health
have to believe
care.
because you're
Look at like
not in
Pete
it.
Hegseth is head of our pension. I mean, we're more safe than ever. I mean, are you fucking
Well,
kidding
I'm
me?
sorry, I don't
There is a
speak
Who
to
are
piece in the
China. I
you?
don't
big
speak
there's a
in
piece in the
this
big beautiful bill that
in
is
this kind of
wanting to
language. You're
allocate
wrong.
spending and funding for cybersecurity. So, Colleen, are you in favor of that part of the bill?
That's one single item, and there are so many different issues. It's time to take care of American and American interest, whether at education, technology, businesses, and so forth. You know,
Naz,
many of those people who come, they bring their grandparents, and those receive health care, retirement, and they never work a day in the US. So that's what is really bad and damaging.
Naz, you started out your submission by asking why should we care about China, if I heard you correctly.
Not
And,
just with China, anybody else.
well,
He's the president of the United States of America. He's not
I
the
got you.
president of other countries. His interest is the US.
I
What is
got you.
best for us?
I got you. I got you. I heard. And my my question to you is: would you care about me if you owed me $765 billion? Would you
What do you
would you be
mean?
concerned
I'm
about
not so
me?
sure. What do you mean?
You're not so sure.
I'm not so sure what you mean. Your statement
I'm saying,
is
okay, let me
ambiguous.
explain it. Let me explain it a little bit differently. Let me explain it a little bit differently. China is the second largest owner of Treasury securities
Incorrect.
at
What they have is
765 billion. Wait.
280
Let me finish
billion.
my submission and I'm throw it back to you, bro. I'm gonna throw it back to you. China is the second largest owner, only trumped by Japan. I think they're at 1.06 or 1.07, something like
Incorrect.
that
The Arab
trillion.
countries have
Well,
5.1 trillion.
Naz, I promise I'm gonna throw it back to you, and I suggest that you go check that out because it is a fact. It is a fact. China owns the second most of treasury-backed securities. If they call those, it completely destroys our economy. And anytime,
Japan actually, they've sold a lot, so
hold on,
Japan actually
Colleen,
owns
hold
more.
on. I'll speed up so you can get it. I'm gonna throw it to Naz. I'm gonna speed up so you can get it. My point is this: I'm going to be concerned, just like if I owe the bank for my house and the bank comes and tells me something, I'm gonna be concerned that they could take my house from me. I'm gonna be concerned about the person that I owe the most to. That's an issue. So I don't understand how we're not concerned. I just don't get it. You got it.
Why
Oh,
don't we
well,
have a
I'm glad.
why
You
did
got
they
it,
debate?
Colleen.
Why don't we have a CISO, a security? Why did they let go of all the security, cybersecurity people, and they let down the security for cybersecurity for Russia? The whole thing's nuts. I don't even want to speak about it, so I'm going to leave right now. I appreciate all of you, but when you speak about this, make sure you get your facts right because this is seriously something that we should be very, truly, really scared about. And it's unbelievable that they demand this whole our CISO government, our CISO team. Are you aware of that? I mean, I don't think you guys are.
He left, Colleen. He left.
No, it's really bizarre, and so that's the whole element that you have to look at the way they're chiseling down everything. We are vulnerable. The bond market, whoever said that earlier, I really do agree. If we, I think someone said, if we don't go to war, and I'm sad to say this, like that someone said earlier, if we don't have, we're not at war in 4 years, we'll be grateful. So someone said on the stage,
I said
if
I'd
we,
call it a win.
you call it a win. And I mean, the Allison, was that you? I mean, that was so I never heard that. And gosh, it was really weird for me to take in, to be honest. But the other thing is, I look at that, but then I look at if we don't get our bonds degraded again, it will be a gift because I don't think Americans understand, and they don't. The amount of when the bonds go down, the American dollar goes down. So that means everything's going down for everyone. This is worse than I went through 2008, 2009. So I have a finance background, so I understand. This is really shady. What's going on, and it is really risky, and it is very alarming. And it's I would put it to the high scale of intentional destruction. I mean that a song called World Destruction because when you have the bonds that have already been degraded and after what happened today, if we can make sure that our bonds don't get degraded. Whoever the gentleman said earlier tonight said I would it'd be a gift if our bonds don't get degraded again. I second both what Allison said and the other gentleman said because if our bonds don't get degraded, that'll be a gift. And I don't think the people understand what that means because
Well,
that means everything's gonna get much more expensive. Life is gonna change a lot for the American people in a lot of ways that they have never known it to be.
There's one new thing also, Colleen, which is like we learned with this regional bank scare, just how big of a threat it is now if, confidence goes down and people try to take all their money out digitally. And, the average person doesn't even think about just how old America is. Rome fell. All civilizations, right, have pretty much fallen except for the ones that are
700
here.
years. Cycle of 700 years if you look at history.
How long did Rome last? It's not a given. That's my point.
I was gonna say at least a while, right? They were around for a while.
This is intentional. So I just want to make sure you all know that. And there's only one person that actually is doing this intentionally, and he's making a shitload of money. And as the economy goes down, I guarantee that he's going to buy a lot of property, and things are going to change. And it's sick. It's a robbery. It's a heist. It's sick in itself. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the people, and I just can't believe this is going on. I had hoped that he would be better in this office, but I've just seen everything that I saw in the first administration, times 10. And no one can figure out what to do moving forward. And this is no way for us to live, and we shouldn't be living this way. We are too smart, too knowledgeable in this world, in this day and age, to have someone leading this nation in such a manner. And that's a fact. And as far as our debt, we can chisel that down in the right ways. This is not the right way. Clearly, he got just knocked. I laughed a lot of today because I thought it was hilarious that the courts knocked him down, because I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen today, but it's illegal. And who's going to pay the tariffs back? Someone said, "Oh, the tariffs aren't going to be paid back because they haven't received the money." No, this is all going to cost us a lot more money. And the thing is, who's doing the accounting for this? And that is the fact. The thing is, all this is just damage. What good is coming out of this? Have you heard one good thing, promising things that you've heard like in the last 6 months? Look, I'm glad to hear that, we've actually, worked on our, the wall is not focused on, okay? Like actually the immigrants coming in, I'm glad. But like, we shouldn't be kicking students out that graduated from Harvard today. I mean, that was like horrible. I mean, like to make them like leave within like 72 hours. I mean, where is our humanity as a country in itself? People pay a lot of money to go to these universities. These are the brightest of people that make our people brighter. I mean, what is going on? I mean, I don't, and they pay a lot of money to come here, and they had to worry about going to graduation today. I mean, like, and we work. Minds work better when you play tennis. You want to play tennis with someone better than you. When you play football, you want to play with someone that's better than you, so you play better. I mean, these are things that we all know.
Yeah, Colleen. My question is once again. I mean, I don't think anybody's disputing any of the things that you're talking about. That's traumatic. My question is this: what do you do about the large portion of the country that thinks that this is a good strategy because they voted for him enthusiastically? What do you do? Do you just ignore those Americans? Do you say they're idiots? What do you do with those people? How do you reach them?
I really appreciate that question. I think that's really, I really appreciate that question, and I would really like to have more rooms in a calm manner that discuss that. I think that's a really, and because I look at the end of the day, like there's some things that maybe that I believe that Trump has done that's good, but this is going seriously in a very bad way. So I mean, the immigrant the deportation is like we need to improve things. I don't know, but I think that we need to figure that out. So I appreciate the question, and I would love someone else to voice their ideas about it. That's what I would like to have spend time around.
Well, one thing I'll say is the way we elect people, the way you've got to have so much money to even be a candidate. You know, I mean, you can't do much about popular electoral votes and all that, maybe because there is the city versus the rural areas, right? So that's the compromise we came up with. But as far as who gets elected and who's on the ballot and how they're promoted and whether, somebody with that's not even famous and has a new name can get steam in the media, it's just I think the system itself, as far as how people get their message across and get the vote, it's limited. That's limited as well as the who's going into the ring to run.
You could also look at this like a company. Okay, so for example, like a company that CEO comes in, and he wants to like a new CEO comes into a company, and he changes the whole operations of a company, and then suddenly like he wants to own the company. Like I mean, and literally like he wants to be because let's say the company's public and he wants to take it private and he wants to own it and change it up to that. That's what we're talking. But this is our government though. So the government is not run as a corporation. It's not run as like a private entity. Like so that's the thing. And someone said earlier, like Trump has like 1,000 LCCs. Yeah, because he knows how to work the system. So the thing is, most people in this world, even with the most wealthiest people, know that there's a difference between the executive branch and the judicial system, Congress, and the Senate. I mean, they know and they respect it because they've made money and profited because they've lived in the United States of America. So that's the problem is we have someone that doesn't respect the foundation of which we've grown and succeeded and is essentially eroding like what we that has been built over centuries. So that's the problem is that's I don't know how to stop it, but I think it really needs to be more of a discussion, and I appreciate the question because I do think that it's a very and it's not even about it's about just following the rules of the Constitution. I mean, if you just go along with that, it's not like we don't there no January 6th should never have happened. We don't need but it needs to be proactive because we need to innovate. We need to be strong and we need to thrive as a country. And we will not if we let this continue to unfold because the erosion of the dollar and if our bonds get, if they get demoted again, that's when, I might be looking for a job in another country. I'll be quite frank.
I think if the Democrats want to get back in control, I think they need to be strategizing right now for 2026. I think they need to change tactics. I think the Republicans are very good about rallying their base. They use emotion to energize them, and they get out to the polls. And the Democrats are a little bit too wishy-washy as far as their party officials on certain issues. They're on the fence a lot of the time. They're wishy-washy. The Republicans and the MAGA people, they pick an issue, they take a firm stance, and they quadruple down on it, even if it's nonsensical. I think the Democrats need to focus on the future and change their strategy. That's my opinion.
I agree with you on that. Like wishy-washy, balls like on like time to be strong. Period. There's no reason. There's no alternative, and frankly, they should have done that years ago. I mean, I agree. I see it clearly now, but there's no excuse. And anyone that wants to run, they should run now for office. I hope you are all listening. Anyone, McKee, like anyone here that's interested, put your name out there. Why the hell not?
From a personal perspective, from a personal perspective, and from an economic perspective, I think the experiment that is democracy, blended with capitalism in this type of experiment, because we are a very, very young country, very, very young. I honestly do believe that there has to be a restructuring, a complete shakeup, because we cannot continue this path as a consumer driven economy, driven economy, fortified by military strength and under the delusion that we are, quote unquote, the best in the world. The data doesn't actually support that in any way, shape, or form. Well, we
We
are
are
the
not the
best.
best in the world. Hello,
Okay,
knock knock.
okay, but can you
Hello,
let him
knock knock. Come
finish?
on, knock
Can
on
you
my
let him
door.
finish?
We
Colleen,
are
Can
not.
you let him
China
finish?
is the best in
Can
the
you
world. It's a
can
fact.
you let
We
Colleen,
are
him
not leading
finish?
this world. We
Colleen,
lost that
I
10 years
left you a
ago
message.
when the first administration, Trump was president.
Colleen,
He had a
I
chance.
left you a
Colleen,
We are no
message
longer leading this
on
world.
Chatter.
It's a fact.
Oh my God.
Colleen, can I finish, please? Can I finish?
We can't mute her over
Um,
here because she's
yeah, I
on
know,
Chatter.
but I mean, I don't think that we can continue down this path. From a military standpoint, we have gotten to the place where everybody has a button, so that's not going to get us over. And the fact that we're consumer driven and we are so dependent on so many other countries, it's not going to work out well for us. With the fact that we actually consistently over decades spend more than we take in, we do not actually take care of our own citizens the way that we should. And we have actually, and you marry that with capitalism, anyone
We're
who
not
can get
dependent on
whatever they
other
got to get,
countries,
and
actually.
anybody who
So
can
that's a
actually
bunch of
get what they
shenanigans,
See,
and
that's the problem right
I'm going
there
to
is
say
that
that
you keep
for a
interrupting
fact.
people and
Colleen,
you keep interrupting people and you need to stop or somebody needs to take her down. I actually
I
just
will
left
just leave.
Chatter.
I will leave.
I just left Chatter because I couldn't take it anymore. Please stop and
yeah,
No, we're
check
definitely
your
not
messages.
meeting Colleen. She's
I'm
content and
not saying
represents the
anything.
Democrats,
I'm
so
not
she's
saying
good.
anything about muting her, but she
But
needs to
yes,
have respect.
Colleen, moderate yourself, love, because we
Thank
can
you.
only hear one person at a time.
yeah. I just want to say that married with capitalism, with everybody go get it the best way that you can, and the people that have the access can do whatever they want to do. That those two things from an economic standpoint can't run. There has to be some moderation there at some point in time. And I think we have hit that impasse. And I think that at this point, I don't know whether the whole system has to come down, but literally have to be some massive change. The sad part that kind of breaks my heart is that it should have come from a good place and not from, I don't want to say good or evil, but a malevolent place. It didn't have to go so bad that everybody is completely destroyed. And now we got to say, yeah, that probably wasn't a good idea. And our dollar is the equivalent of Mexican peso. It doesn't have to go there. I wish we could have done it a different way, but that's kind of seemed like the direction that we're going. And it's going to hurt, but it's going to take us a decade to pull out of it. That's just my opinion, though.
I agree. That's why I said 10 years earlier. And I was meaning that if he were to leave today, the longer he's in, the longer it's going to take.
See, now y'all made Colleen leave, so now you got to entertain this Clubhouse.
We didn't make her leave.
Oh no, did she leave? Yeah,
No,
you see? Oh no.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make her leave.
Oh, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. She'll be back. It's probably at 1 o'clock where she's at.
Yeah.
So did you guys not have a single soul in here other than me earlier sticking up for El Presidente? Is that really what happened tonight?
That's funny you said El Presidente when he's trying to run off all the Mexicans.
Yeah, it's
That ain't
funny you say
right.
all
That's
the
funny.
Mexicans because we
That
all
is
we all
funny.
Mexican, us Latins over here. No, he's doing a lot, Miki. He's doing a hell of a lot. We'll see what ends up happening. Sanctuary cities better get ready. We're getting ready in LA for sure.
I'm curious where all of that Doge money that was found is going to go. I'm just curious. I know it'll take 5 years to find out, but I'm really curious about that.
They were asking them a lot of questions about Doge today. Um, They asked, because, Elon stepped down. They were asking who is the new leader, who is managing Doge, and Levitt responded saying that the entire cabinet is basically involved with Doge, and it's all the cabinet members that are working through the Doge employees, that some are now full government staff, and they're kind of just running the department apparently. So I heard that today from the press secretary.
My money's on Rudy Giuliani. He'll be the
To
next
do
leader of
what?
Doge. To lead Doge.
I think they're gonna just let it go away because it was such a terrible failure. Like it, for Tesla, I had this argument on Clubhouse with someone. Tesla's earnings from, I believe it was Q4 2024 to Q1 2025 dropped 71%. Doge was terrible for Elon, and it was also terrible for Trump. And remember, Stephen Miller, who is a literal white supremacist, like not the joke one, he did not like Elon Musk whatsoever because he's more America first than Trump or Bannon. And they didn't get along at all. Remember when Elon was tweeting that we needed more of those high end visas, and Stephen Miller was like, "No, we don't." So we knew that this was going to come, but it was actually hurting the Republicans and hurting Donald Trump, the optics of Doge, because people were like, who is this guy? Because they were blaming all those cuts on Elon at first, remember? And then remember those Republican town halls where people were just screaming at them, the veterans, the disabled, the seniors, and they were like, "Why is this man? We didn't elect him." And so, yeah, I think they're gonna let Doge die a quiet death, in my opinion.
My 31-year-old daughter has the cutest names for them. She calls Stephen Miller Senator Palpatine.
That's funny. He is like Senator Palpatine. I just finished watching all the Star Wars movies.
I said, that's priceless.
He doesn't try to hide it, though. I mean, and he's learned a lot more since this administration. I am terrified of this man. I'm not even. He's worse than Cheney. I mean, Cheney scared me now. But this dude, ugh.
Yeah, this dude is like next level evil. I mean, Cheney took the cake with everything that he did, but I just never thought it would surpass him. Miller is next level evil. And yeah, he's truly, truly terrifying. And the scariest part about Stephen Miller is, let's just say the whole Trump administration goes away and it's Democratic for the next 8 years, say 2028 to 2036. It's Democratic administration, Democratic Congress, Democratic everything. He still is operating in the background. That's the terrifying thing. That's what's so terrifying. He doesn't go away.
Yeah, I mean, one of the worst parts about being a Republican, actually, as a black person, was acknowledging the Heritage Society. And the Heritage Society has, pretty much been on its mission to do pretty much a lot of what Project 2025 is for decades. Like, Republicans have always wanted to make these cuts to certain programs and get rid of, anything that might benefit lower and middle income classes, and more so about the 1% or the upper middle class. And But Miller, Bannon is too goofy, in my opinion. He's just all bluster. Like Stephen Miller would make the kind of mistake that Bannon did, raising money for the wall and then, going and running off with it. No, he wouldn't do that kind of thing. But he's too close to Donald Trump. And honest, in my opinion, I think that's one of the few people that he actually trusts his opinion because he plays his role quite well. He never really criticizes Trump. And, he's probably figured out the secret to, containing that ego to really get him to see his point of view.
Oh, he absolutely knows how to stroke Trump's ego to actually do what he's trying to convince him to do. He is the Trump whisperer, if anybody is. And he plays his role effectively. He never takes the spotlight, never takes away from Trump because he knows that's what Trump is there for. He's there for the spotlight. As long as you feed him the spotlight, as long as you let him get out front, as long as you let him feed his self-esteem, he'll do whatever you ask. And that's the really, really malevolent and evil part of Stephen Miller. He knows this and he does it masterfully.
Yes, interesting times, interesting times.
Colleen was saying, I believe everybody should run. I'm like, are you crazy, lady? There's no way in the world I will put myself in a political game at this juncture. You insane.
Oh, I most definitely would. But, in my 30s, I took a lot of booty pics because I was really cute back then. So they're probably still floating out there. So I can't run, but I'll support anyone else that does, honestly.
I'm like you, Miki. There's videotapes and pictures that were stolen out of my car when I was in college, and there's
Oh,
still
no,
bars
no
that I can't go
videotapes.
in.
No, 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 no.
I am not going. Won't show up on TMZ. Won't be me.
Very nice pictures, I might add, but nope. Although one day I'll probably run for the school board in Houston. I tried to, when the state took over Houston Independent School District, I actually went through a vetting program. Um, if the state ever appointed board members, like I went through the process of being someone to be considered. So I made it to like one of like 25 people, which wasn't bad. But um, yeah, I think local politics is very effective because I know, like, as much as we criticize these people, I know when you get to probably even the state level, it's just a lot of bullshit. And I'm not very good at that. But I think on the local level, you can accomplish a lot more without having to play more of the game than it's expected of you. Because I can't imagine being in Washington and just, the foolishness that you have to engage in. So I already know I would not be a good fit for that anyway.
I don't know. I think before running for office like that, I would go back to school, be a lawyer, and come back and sue everybody. The kind of shit that we're seeing happen is just absolutely, absolutely insane. So, but I think, a lot of people are getting motivated to run for office, go back to school. I unfortunately found out today that I had a friend pass away, and it's hitting me really hard. So I'm thinking about all the spiritual work I used to do that I kind of just let go, to go back to regular life after COVID. And it's a lot of stuff going on, you guys. I think it's a great time to, I'm in my 40s also, Miki, and you're in your 30s, it sounds like, right?
Absolutely not. I'm Gen
Oh,
X.
there you go. I still made the millennial cut according to who you ask, so, or depending on who you ask. I just turned 43. But no, my friend passing away, it's hitting me a little bit different. I think sometimes we forget the impact that we can make when we do just a little bit more than we think that we can handle. It's been interesting, kind of coming in and talking about so many different things, but life's really hitting people. Call your friends, call your family, call your people. Tell them how much you love them and get back to being active. I don't, if you're trolling when you say that you wouldn't run for office because you've got some freaky deaky pictures out there. Who cares? Look at all the shit that we hear other people have. Just go run for office. You'd be great.
Oh no, I'd be afraid they'd try to kill me.
I think he would
I
be
mean, I'd be like
considered.
worse than Jasmine Crockett,
I mean, shit, they
honestly.
try to kill Jonathan's ass just for reporting the news. So,
Oh my goodness,
shit, you never know.
that's a lot. I mean, I think that it's important for younger people to run. I think it's important to support the process. Like how I'm going to deal with all this is, probably volunteer to get people registered to vote, honestly, because that's always effective and practical. But I mean, this is a lot, and I don't even think we've really felt the majority of it. Like, but every day it's something new. It's like we're not even really able to pause and take a breath because every day it's something new. Every single day. I mean, but maybe that's intentional. It's like one distraction after the other, after the other, after the other.
Can I say something
Yeah.
quickly? Being
Keisha
that
and Ryan, what y'all got googly eyes for in the chat? What's going on? Sassy fan with the donuts in a Tesla. What do you guys have to say tonight?
Nah,
Well,
I think we should go find Colleen.
But on a serious tip, I have to go soon. I'm over on Clubhouse. This is Jen. What you just said about checking in on people. I I mean I worked the Trayvon Martin case. Attorney Benjamin Crump's a close friend of mine, and his assistant is a lawyer. We worked together. He was over the coalition. I'm getting somewhere with this. And he held office in Tallahassee on different boards, and he committed suicide. He died by suicide a few weeks ago. And it's just, I think, he worked major cases like George Floyd and, um, you know, Prince was a friend of mine. A lot of people know that, but he organized the Freddie Gray thing. He just seen so much and went through so much. And what people are going through on a daily basis, we have no idea. So whoever over on Chatter said to just check in with people, please check in with people. And he is one that you would think would be the strongest of the strong, and often they're the ones that need it the most. So just because someone seems to have it all together, I mean, none of us do, honestly. So I'd ask, his name is Adner. Anyone that prays, please pray for his family. He has siblings, parents that are not going through this. And yeah, I just want to co-sign on checking in on people and checking on the people that maybe you think don't need to be checked in on, because often they're the ones that need it the most. With that, I'll be complete. Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Dr. Jen. Listen, if someone comes and crosses your mind, send them a text, give them a call. Rule of thumb for me from now on.
Sorry for both of your losses.
Thank you, love. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. I'll be nice to you for 3.5 days.
Sounds good. It'll take us all the way to Monday.
Okay.
I'm glad you came back and you didn't rage quit this time.
No, Rachel would kill me, and she'd harass me until I got back on. So I'm like, I'm not dealing with that again. That girl is tough. Jesus, you can't tell her
Man,
no.
Rachel doesn't even let me enjoy my damn popcorn in peace, man. She fucking watches me in the chat and shit. Can't even enjoy my damn popcorn in peace.
Speaking of who should run for office, it should be her.
I know. I know. Something tells me that like she wants to speak more in her day to day, and that's why she goes off in here. But she'd be great to run for something for sure.
I think so. I mean, because you
Chat
have to.
too. Chat's a good one too. TC. There's a lot of people. Man, if I were Jonathan, I'd be fucking supporting all these people to go out there and do their thing, right? Because I think that's the next step is being able to support people that want to take all the work and apply it and where they're at.
I would vote for Rachel, Tara, and Laura.
Uh,
I mean, they're
Diana.
knowledgeable.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Pam.
Oh, Miki, I was just wondering if you and Diana caught TC's interview. He was interviewing people a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was
He
the one
was
that's home to go
such.
do it.
Oh,
He
okay.
was like, "Should I go?" I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
go, go, go." It was great.
What a natural. And it was really fun to see a different side of him, too. He was so good at it.
Where was he interviewing people?
At a park, he was driving by, and there was a protest, a Trump protest, and he got out of the car and he started interviewing people, and it was good. There were people with really cool signs, and it was a great use of the space for sure. Really, really great use.
It
And
was
he
at
did
a
such,
Tesla dealership, I believe. Yeah.
and he did such a great job of keeping his opinions very neutral and just asking questions. I give him 5 stars for that day.
Yeah, he was independent that day for sure.
For that day is good. That's hilarious.
Sorry. He just did a great job.
Yeah, he really did, Pamela. He really did.
I made him yell at me in a clubhouse room, so I don't know if he comes in here. It was actually kind of funny, but
If TC ran for politics, I would say TC would be if Byron Donalds and Cory Booker had a baby. That would be TC.
I hate Byron Donalds. The problem is that I think that I don't know. To me, ever since he had that interaction with Goat, he tries too hard to sound intellectual, and it doesn't sound authentic. Like he says words and phrases that it sounds like he's never used before in his life. But I really don't like the guy, so I could be a little biased. So I'll acknowledge that.
Goat's
That's the
another one
Byron
that
Donalds.
I could listen to also. He's really good.
Goat is hilarious when he wants to be, but yeah,
Go.
I mean, there's so many people that just know so much, like Dr. Goddess. I like when she talks about, so, but she's actually a historian, so um, yeah, there's some really cool people that really go into a lot of detail. That's why I like listening to Laura from her perspective about everything she has going on. It's kind of fascinating to me, especially when she deals with people overseas and stuff. So, yeah.
So here's a question. If DTN applied for White House press passes and we got accepted, but could only send 2 people, who would those 2 people be?
Me, because I'd probably be one of the
Jonathan.
ones to get us there.
Yeah,
Shit.
Diana, you'd be great.
Man,
I
if
wouldn't last
Jonathan would
very
let
long.
me, I would do so many fucking things for DTN. But I think he's scared. Like, no, I remember, and I still, some of the Republicans that I talked to this week were the same people that I had gone to like a conference with. And I remember there was a Fox guy there, one of the anchors, and I put on DTN, and Rachelle was going at it with somebody. They fucking loved Rachelle. I didn't say who she was or anything because I don't know, right? Like I don't know if Rachelle like wants to say what, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure they would have known like who she works for and all that stuff. But they loved the exchange. And these people are going after the young. Everybody is going after the young demographic. Everybody. It's freaking nuts. And I have a feeling it has to do with like their sponsors and like all of that back end stuff that I'm personally still learning, right? But I love the youth. I really, really do. Um, my thing is to make sure that they have the information, they can make the decisions themselves. Definitely not the same case for like the networks that are fucking searching for them. But that's neither here nor there, I'm coming from a good place. I think the youth should get more involved in these discussions, and it'll be fun to do something good. I don't know. I'm hoping that 4 long ass years of this really is going to lead somewhere. And I always told JB he should run, but he always says no. But we'll see. We'll see who. Can you guys imagine if Grant ends up being the first one to like? take on a position in office.
Run on
That
sentence, not you, because you're talking too much and Trump would kick you out.
no, listen, I know how to behave when I'm in front of people. I'm much better in person. But I would love to see somebody that we know really jump in and, take on a government role. Why not? Why not? Shauna, if Shauna's still over there, she's going to help me get Grant elected, right, Shauna? And that's how I know she's not there. She was already cursed me out.
Who would you take, Diana?
Oh, Jonathan. We'd both
I,
have to go over there.
I vote
Absolutely.
for Storm and Joseph.
Joseph will come back and report to all of you guys. He's got the best voice to keep you guys calm.
I voted for Dr. Hope and Colleen for sure.
Oh my God.
Hilarious.
Be the new Diamond and what was the other one? Diamond and Diva. What were they?
Diamond and Silk.
Those two women.
They were terrified.
I think Dr. Julio from Clubhouse applied for a press pass, if I'm not mistaken.
I like him too. He's crazy as shit also, but I like him.
I mean, he basically just went to TikTok, started talking about the liberal people, and then he got an invite to the inauguration. So
I'm just picturing Dr. Hope in a White House press briefing. I mean, that could be its own reality show.
And Diana, if Grant wins California, you need to sing at his inauguration.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. I'm
Yeah, I'm
wondering if
still
he's
waiting
gonna
for
go
you to
for
put
it.
together the chatter choir. I think that would be so cool to have like voices from around the world on the first anniversary, which is coming up.
That would be a lot of fun. Are you excited for V2, Pamela?
Oh my gosh. I'm like I have a really full weekend and I'm dreading the thought of missing the countdown, but we'll see. Have they said anything else about when they're planning to do it?
I'm not sure, but I know that Nelson was hoping for tomorrow
Ooh.
because he wants to. I think he's going to go see Cindy Talk at
Uh-huh.
Grant's event, and that's either Saturday or Sunday. So he wanted
I
it
think she
to.
got Sunday.
That'll be fun if it drops for him while he's out there.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense because a lot of the people that are going are kind of the original 100.
Uh huh.
Miki, are you going
where?
to Grant's event?
No.
I'm just kidding.
I was just talking with a friend of mine about all these conferences and they're so expensive and like I was looking at FinCon though. Does anybody want to come with me to FinCon?
What's that?
It's
Oh,
the
that sounds
for
good.
financial content creators.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be in Portland, but they have so many. There's like the tech ones, the like woman hear me roar ones, like what is grants like about wealth building or real
Think
estate or
so.
something?
But you
Oh,
know
okay.
what? I mean, the whole thing is the people you meet. And I think, Diana, you've probably been to some of those events. I think you mentioned that, but it's, you know, it- there's the conference part, but I think just the networking can be so good.
I haven't done any of. I have my ticket for Grant's event. I think I've had it for 2 years now, and I've always not been able to go, even though I plan ahead of time. Something always happens right before. Um, but I've done like Tony Robbins. I've done Psy. I did a lot of conferences when I was active in real estate. Um, and yeah, you're right. It's about who you meet. It's um, building your network. It's learning from people that are doing the same things that you're doing, but in another area. And so sometimes how they get through certain adversities, you're able to learn from that too, and vice versa. So the power of the conferences are really good. I like also now even virtually seeing them. I can, you know, I can put myself through a virtual conference and still be able to get a lot of value for it. It's I used to think that everybody could learn virtually, but the more and more that we would teach virtually, the more we would realize, no, there's something about that in person that sometimes really can make the difference for people and maybe how they retain the information or feel the motivation to apply it. So I definitely believe in the conferences for sure.
Diana, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you still do real estate or you no longer do real estate?
I do still do real estate. I actually tell people that if you ever do get your license in the US, try to always keep it just because it's something that's very nominal to maintain yearly. And it's a great way to keep yourself educated with real estate, which, in my opinion, in our country, cash may be king, but then real estate is queen. You know what I mean? So the more that you know about real estate, the better. Are you in real estate?
Yeah, I am.
What state?
I'm in Florida. I'm a licensed mortgage loan officer and a realtor.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So, yeah, I'm on the other side of the coast. Um, have you heard of a company called LPT out there?
LPT is actually the company that I'm with that holds my license for my realtor.
Oh my
And
God,
my
so funny.
yeah, I'm with
Uh,
LPT,
very
and
cool.
yeah, and then with my mortgage loan officer license, I'm with Nexa, and I'm in 8 states for residential.
Very cool. Look, out of all the companies I could have named, I named that one because if I was going to end up going to Miami, part of the trip was going to include going and meeting with an LPT team to see if I would be bi-coastal with them. I've been independent since COVID. Our office, I was with Keller Williams and they decided to close and there was a lot of different things going on. So I said, you know what, this is the time for me to just go independent, at least until we figure out what in the world's going on with COVID. And I stayed independent. I've been independent ever since. So I still do sales. I do a lot of like risk management, consulting, things like that. Right now, we're doing advocacy work because so foreclosures are up,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like a lot of the servicers are not aware that like state housing laws actually supersede federal housing laws. And so there's this 37-day rule that has been implemented um, with the servicers, and they've foreclosed on California properties with that rule. When California, like we just passed AB 2424 that was enacted this year, that makes it so that a borrower could wait up to 5 days prior to auction and still submit documentation from their realtor to get that auction postponed and apply for a sale.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care. They just have been foreclosing. And
Oh.
I remember even talking to dad. I was crying actually to Daphne and Jonathan um, because I get so heated when I see these types of things happen, and not even attorneys can really do much. um, you have to take it up through like the legislation because the homeowners cannot afford the 20, 30, $40,000 retainer to fight things like this. So it's really interesting right now for me in real estate because I think there's a lot of deregulation that's happening and we're starting to see it impact. So um, you'd be surprised how much we can do as realtors with regards to legislation and all that stuff. So I love meeting other realtors and especially the ones that are doing like mortgage and real estate because it just shows passion for both. So congratulations. How long have you been in the industry?
Um, I've been in the financial industry since 1998. I came in with I used to work for Bank of America.
Oh wow, you did like the countrywide stuff.
Well, yeah, I did countrywide. With countrywide, I don't want to take over the room. I'm sorry, you guys.
They
But
know
I
it's
was
popcorn. They can jump in anytime.
okay with country. I was with countrywide, and they stopped us from doing mortgages at that time, and we had to do countrywide raggedy loans. Those loans were horrible. So Bank of America actually stopped. originating loans when we took over Countrywide to take care of all those loans.
Yeah, those days were crazy. And yeah, you guys jump in anytime. Are you guys, Joseph, do you guys still keep the room open all night long? I think so, huh?
They go to sleep in here.
I'm still
Sometimes I
cracking
wake
up.
up and I hear people in here and I'm like, y'all still up talking?
I'm still cracking up that she called them
Yeah.
raggedy loans. That was funny.
I'm still wondering why Diana is a Trump supporter, but she's against deregulation. I'm sorry.
No,
Too late.
listen, I'm a supporter of the Presidente of the United States. I think we need to be supportive and have an American and not an Americanat attitude. And so we've been calling him out for stuff that's not good, right? Especially Jonathan. He calls him out on all kinds of shit. So, and I'm expressing certain concerns, but it's expected when you've got somebody who's coming in and shaking shit up. On the deregulation, I think that we have a lot of work to do on the consumer side. I mean, the fact that consumers are not allowed to record their calls with these freaking servicers who literally lie to them day in and day out is blasphemy to me. We should have changed that rule a long time ago. So you guys just be careful, because especially if you have like elderly parents and all that stuff, that's who we're seeing preyed on, and the kids aren't even finding out till later. It's really cuckoo out there.
The crazy thing is, I'm surprised that a lawyer hasn't jumped on that to do a class action lawsuit, because that's the most of the time how their consumers are actually represented when the mortgage companies take advantage. It's usually an attorney that somebody tells about it and they do a class action lawsuit. So just buckle up, wait till attorney gets a hold of it, and yeah, they'll get a class action lawsuit because the attorneys get most of the money anyway.
Yeah, I just think that the Trump administration is responsible for a lot of things that were put in place to protect consumers. Like they got rid of all the SARS. They tried to get rid of what was it, the Consumer Protection Agency? That's not the formal name. So, yeah, they're removing a lot of the avenues that consumers have. Just like with the lawsuit thing, right? They don't want to basically take away precedent in terms of these lawsuits. So, imagine if people have to constantly lawyer up, lawyer up, lawyer up. I just think that's terrible because I don't think about the top 20% of Americans for most things. I tend to think about the bottom half of 50%. The average American, when the median income in this country for single people is like $42,000, like they need more protections, in my opinion, not less
Wait a
protection.
minute.
So,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I'm working on class and I wasn't paying complete attention. Can you repeat that? The median income?
yep, the median income for single people, I think it's like $42,000. The
Now?
last time I checked.
2025.
Well, it's not 2020. I think the last numbers I looked at, it was like 2023.
Still, that I had. I'm dumb. This is Dr. Jen. This is just Jen. I'm dumbfounded. I don't know how any. I had no idea. Thank you. I really. Say it
Let
one
me
more time.
confirm because I look at so much median income for singles. Yep, that's right. Median personal income for single individuals in the U.S. is $42,220. Um, the
That's
median
staggering
income
to
for
me.
single
I had no
full-time
idea.
workers can also be around 60,000, but it's somewhere in between. So we probably say like 50, because I like median because it's right in the middle and
Yeah.
it's not the average. But yeah, it's not very much at all.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, Doctor, and it's crazy. That's you, right, Doctor Jen?
Yeah, it is. I've. You go ahead.
I think. Yep, I followed you here on Chatter, and I'll have to remove some people to follow you on Clubhouse.
Thank you. I appreciate it because
Yeah,
I adore you.
you're
And
welcome.
I wrote in,
Yeah.
I want you to run for president, but yeah,
Oh, thank you.
no,
I'm
you're
gonna calm
amazing.
down one day and do it because I,
No, I
it's like,
really, I'm not kidding. Whoever was saying that you should
oh,
run, I
thank
think
you.
that you should run for office. No, we need people like you doing that, please.
Yeah, and I would definitely advocate for.
And
That's why I'm
and
such a
I,
fan of Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. But like, so this, and I always, every time I see it online, I put stats like this in there because it's like, why are we so dismissive of $100,000? Like, I believe only 12% of Americans make $100,000. Like, that's a lot. I don't know
I'm
if you listened to that other
completely
room and
ignorant
it was
on
like
this.
3 to 500 ain't a lot of money. I was like, what?
It's not at all. You're saying only 12% make $100,000.
Yepers. And then I think for households, it gets to like 20%, but that's for households, right? That could be more than mom and dad, right? That could be multiple, adults in a household. So yeah, like it's not, that's still like a prize, So I get really triggered when people are dismissive because it's like shaming people, and then to me
Absolutely.
it's almost like the Instagram filters, like you're trying to attain something that's not existent, and then most people don't attain that level of income until their 40s and their 50s, right? It's not a 35-year-old that's going around making that amount because it's usually later in your career. So I'm like, yeah, let's look at the actual data versus basing it on what we personally make because that's immaterial.
Well, I
So,
want you to find me on Instagram because I'm on here often when it's Clubhouse or what have you. Because I'm not kidding. I have a lot of I have done major PR, and I know a lot of people. I have a dear friend that was a part of Kamala's campaign. I mean, like sitting at a table with her. So if you ever do decide to run, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm the like, but I have connections that are. I could sincerely mean find me, and I will do any and all I could for you. Like I would blow it up.
oh, thank you. I'm going to follow you on Instagram. Thank you for seeing through my yelling. I really do
I
care.
know you do. I've been around
But
here. I
no,
mean,
I'm
I
super
remember
passionate.
you
And
from the
actually,
last
that's
few
why I'm
years.
here. So I can get to do my
Yeah,
financial literacy stuff. I had a house on Clubhouse, but I literally just got tired. The Bitcoin bros, not the
right.
good real estate people. I mean, like the bad real estate people. And I had like 10,000 followers, and I love talking about, yeah, just, because you got to talk to people one on one sometimes because it's so easy for people to just be like, you know what, I'm just not going to deal with my finances. And yeah, I'm super passionate about that. So let me, you know what, girl, I'm on Clubhouse on my office phone, and I'm gonna find your Instagram. Is it on your club? Is it in your profile here?
It doesn't allow you to, but it's just DR Virginia Marie, like Virginia, the state. Marie, Marie. So DR Virginia Marie. That's me on Instagram.
Oh, and that's such a Ooh, haha!
What?
I'm scared of you
Why that?
because I see psychotherapist.
Oh no, I'm a lot of things. I'm actually good. I love that you're in finance because I have a I don't know what to call him. He's a business partner. Let's put it that way. And he's really getting me into impact investing, and I'm blown away. Like I'm learning so much so fast. I'm like dizzy. So I would, if you ever want to have a talk, or like I would just hang on your every word. So just know that.
Oh, two of my
Oh,
favorite people in the
sure.
world getting together. I love
Yay,
Oh, I love
GA. And
GA.
yeah,
GA is
Dr.
definitely
Jen,
my brother.
because on the app, I actually found, or they found me, or I can't remember. You remember, like, early on Clubhouse, like everyone was just vibing. I actually did some research for a group that were recovering addicts, and this is so funny. The people on Clubhouse, because I've been in wealth management for 30 years, but I've dealt with high net worth clients, and it's you don't talk about financial literacy with people that are used to wealth or assets. So I had to educate myself on like credit basics and stuff like that. And there are literally financial professionals that also have PhDs in psychology and psychiatry so that they can deal with people with severe financial trauma. So I had to take extra courses because I wasn't used to dealing with like almost like the I don't hatred popped in my head, but maybe I should go with that word because that's what popped in. Like people that were making like what I would consider above average income, let's just say $100,000 a month from some people that were doing real estate or whatever, small business owners, and they just hated finance, like just didn't pay attention to it. So the addicts made me you have to have grace like in your field and I would say like in my field or you're really going to you can damage people. So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, no, if we ever got together and do that, like, yeah, there's a whole thing that I do about financial trauma and as you know, and I'm seeing this
Oh,
like
now that's my
that
word
trauma
because,
is literally inherited.
right,
So yes, a lot of
genetic,
how we think about money,
epigenetics.
how we see our
Yeah,
finances, so forth and so on is literally from mom and dad or so forth and
absolutely.
so on. Ooh, you're gonna
Absolutely.
be my new bestie.
Yeah,
Yay.
epigenetics, neuroscience, any of that. I'm completely into that stuff.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
I just want to come and hold the camera.
GA, stop it. Hey,
I just want to hear the conversation.
GA, don't forget about the 7th. It's coming up. They haven't put the spotlight up. We're doing it now, but don't forget because Morris is expecting you. So,
I know. I have it on my calendar. I still got to get the time from
well,
you.
we just figured it out.
Uh,
Mike is about sick of me.
oh, okay.
Ice Mike. Yeah, I think
What y'all doing on the 7th?
it's Prince's birthday. Prince was a friend of mine, and his keyboardist and music director for like 20 years is one of the people that I'm closest to on the planet. His name's Morris Hayes.
You mean Prince like
Yeah, Prince
Prince?
Prince.
Yeah, that's why the picture that I have is all glammed out. Like I don't look like that every day. I can show you me with no makeup.
Oh
It's
my
from
god.
because
And that's how me
Morris
and Dr. Jen connected is
Morris
because,
actually did the track. I'm sorry, GA. Morris actually did the spoken word track. It's an album cover. That's what my PTR or whatever you call it is right now. Yeah, I don't wake up looking like that.
yeah, and that's how we
Oh
connected because
my god.
I actually, I grew up best friends with Prince's drummer for a long time and met Morris through him. And that's kind of how Dr. Jen and I kind of connected.
Oh, how awesome sauce is that? There was a guy that was here on Clubhouse because I back channeled him a few times. This is probably like season one or season two. But I want to say he toured with Morris Day because he was just, it was just like on a friendly thing. But he sent me like a ton of pictures
No,
from
not
like when
Morris
they were on
Day. Not
tour.
Morris
I
Day.
wonder if
No,
that was
that
him.
Morris Day is with the time. Not I know Morris Day, but I'm not close to him at all. No, this is
Okay,
Morris.
this must have been a different
Morris
guy
is
that was on
it's a different guy.
Clubhouse.
Morris Hay. No, he was on Clubhouse.
Yeah, Morris was on
Morris was
Clubhouse.
on Clubhouse. He deleted it in November when the new addendum came out, and I read it to him. He told me to delete mine too, but I came back. But yeah, because AI is like, I mean, Clubhouse has always recorded us, right? But they're selling everything to AI now. So, but anyway, so it's Morris Hayes, and you can go to Mr. Hayes. He's following me on my friends. You can check him out there. It has his. You can go to just he's Mr. Hayes dot Morris, I think, on Instagram. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I
there.
think that's right.
Yeah, I think it is. But follow him. Yeah, he'd follow you back too. I'll let him know who you are.
Oh, that is awesome sauce. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah, I'm a huge Prince fan. Like, I mean, like, huge. Like, I cried and I mean, I got to see him perform in Houston for New Year's Eve when he was with, I think, Mighty, because he said, "Do y'all mind if I kiss my woman?" And it was like, yeah, like huge, 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 huge. So that is so awesome sauce. Oh, I found him on IG. That is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Yeah,
really
and I
good.
saw Morris Day a couple of years ago in Houston, and he shared a lot of pictures from when they were growing up together. So that was kind of cool, like on the back screen. And
his skin is like a
um,
baby's butt when. um, He walked up to me at Paisley Park one time, and I just looked at his skin. I'm like, I don't know. He said some kind of Mac line. I was just like, look at his skin. It was just so smooth. I was like, skin looks like a baby's butt. And I walked away. But I really don't know Morris Day. I know Jesse Johnson, but that's not something I'm proud of. Anyway,
Oh, Jesse Johnson.
yeah, it's a whole nother story, girl.
Ah.
But anyway, yeah. So it's going to be on the 7th. So look out for the spotlight
Okay.
and
I'll call
uh,
you before then.
yeah, you. But I was also talking to
Is it
Nikki.
going to be on Clubhouse?
No, it's going to be on Chatter. He's but follow him
Okay,
on.
okay, got it.
Are you on TikTok?
I'm on
Yeah,
TikTok.
I'm completely illiterate on TikTok, but follow him on TikTok too, because that's we're gonna be probably the night before we're gonna be doing something because he that night he has to like after the on the 7th he has somewhere he has to go right after the room, but so the night before we might be doing something. So yeah, I'll be sure to let you know. Okay?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to come and support for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you having? I'm sorry, you guys. I walked away from the phone.
We're just. And I think this is probably the last year because my heart just can't take it anymore. Um, we're going to have a we're not having a birthday thing because he didn't celebrate his birthday, but we are celebrating Prince's life. June he was born on his born day. Say that was on June 7th, and so we're going on Chatter. Morris Hayes is going to DJ Ice Mike. He's a good friend of Morris's and mine, and he has a kick ass. Excuse my language, but he has a kick ass Prince mix, and so he's going to play that and then there's a couple of guys that work really close with Morris that are going to be there, and we're just inviting everyone to come by. And Morris is going to get on video, I have no doubt, and play some music, tell some stories, and yeah, we did it. We did it on Clubhouse last year, and when I was a part of Breakfast with Champions, but I'm not there anymore. So we're doing it on Chatter.
Thank you for repeating it. I'll definitely try to support. I'll definitely try to support and come by. I
Yeah,
try to
what is your
hop
name?
in
Because I'm
everybody's
not in
room
Chatter right
and
now. I
stay in a few
left.
minutes and show a little love. So I'll try to support you. That's fine.
What's your name, hun?
My name is Keisha.
Keisha. Okay, thank you, Keisha.
You're welcome.
Oh, that would be so cool. Thank you.
You know, I mean, this, well, I don't know if it'll be the last time or not. We did something on TikTok. We did like a live, and it was the first time I'd done anything like that in a long time. Um, but IG kicked it off because he was cause of copyright, and so it cut it off. But there's just a part of Prince that I want people to know and understand that it's, because when I think of him, I don't think of him the way most people do. But I never have like with because I know a lot of quote unquote famous people. I mean, I know Lenny Kravitz. I just know a lot of people, and I don't like fame, to be honest with you. I don't want any part of it. I've seen what it can do to people's lives. So there's a dark side to it as well. But I want people to know the man he was, like the person he was, not just the icon, because he was. Sorry. While he was otherworldly, he could be very grounded. He's the reason why the track that this is a picture of happened because he is the one who read my poetry and said, "What are you going to do with it?" And that's where the poetry came from and why it's dedicated to him. Unfortunately, I didn't put it out until 2019, and he transitioned in 2016. But he was the first. I mean, I didn't let people read my poetry. I've written since I was a child. I'd let a few friends and boyfriends, things like that. But I had one person that I was involved with quite deeply that we wrote poetry to one another. But other than that, I never shared it with anyone. And he got a hold of some of it, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then when the lyricist of, and I'm not comparing myself to him in any way, shape, or form, and it's not unique either, because I don't mean to talk too much, but he saw
Oh no, you're fine.
he had the ability to see. I mean, he didn't just do this for me. I just don't want it to seem like I'm saying like I'm some kind of no. Um, he had the ability to see into people and to see their talents and to bring it forth, like to help them give birth to it and believe in themselves. And because this, I mean, I would have never put a poetry book. I just don't think that I ever would have. And now I have. It was picked up by a traditional company last year, a traditional publishing house, and I have two other books coming out. And like none of that would have happened if I hadn't met Prince. I wouldn't have met was the love of my life. I wouldn't have, met Morris. I wouldn't have met so many friends that I love dearly, and I just on and on and on. The experiences I've had, I would have never imagined. I'm from Indiana originally, small town in Indiana, notorious. It's the home of strange fruit. It's Marion, Indiana. Um,
Oh, is that strange fruit? Yes, yes. I love
Yeah.
her.
So yeah.
Sing
Well,
this girl.
the the song, the poem, a poem was written by someone who witnessed the lynching, and it was August of 1930, of Thomas Shipp and Abram Smith, and that's where Strange Fruit came from. And then Billie Holiday made it into a song, and that's where it comes from. But that's my hometown. It's a whole nother story, but that's a large part of why I'm into activism. But yeah, I never, the point is, I come from a small little town in the Midwest. I would have never imagined in 1,000 years that I would have seen and done the things that I have in my lifetime. And I just am thankful and humbled by it greatly.
You're Dr. Jen,
I
right?
am, yeah.
Okay, I followed you on
I'll follow you
Clubhouse,
back.
and then I followed you on Chatter.
I will follow you back. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I think that's awesome. Like, you just um one little thing can lead to something else and become something else, and I think that's just lovely that's just kind of how, life works. I am a spiritual person, but I also believe in the universe and, bringing things together. So, you know, sometimes I'm like, like it's a clubhouse room, and then it's like 3 in the morning, and I'm like, why am I still here? And then somebody would ask a question about, like, their grandmother and, like an estate or something, and I would ask, and then, it's in the back channel, and that actually happened. Someone that I interacted with quite a bit, and I was just talking about insurance and beneficiaries and updating, and sure enough, they took my advice, but her husband contracted COVID, and a few months later, he actually passed away. He was pretty young. She's a young widow with young kids, early 30s, and she was like, Nikki, oh my God, thank you so much. Because if we hadn't done that, taking your advice when you told us to check on all that stuff, it was all wrong. It hadn't been updated. And I was just like, oh, you were so welcome. And then it made me cry. So it's like, I was just up at 3 o'clock in the morning, So that's not serendipity, is it? But I
No, I
love
think it is
your
actually.
story, Dr. Jen.
Thank
And
you.
especially hearing that about Prince, that just really makes me smile, because when I say I'm a huge fan, I'm a huge fan. Prince taught me when I was younger that it was okay to be different, right? It was okay to be peculiar. You didn't have to look like everyone else. You didn't have to dress like everyone else. You could really, really just be yourself and kind of, have an unapologetic view towards people who were not very tolerant. So I always, always, always embraced him for
Well,
that,
what I'm
even
gonna
when I
do
was like
is
in middle school.
I'm gonna give you my email. When
Okay, let me write it down.
yeah, well, not right this minute. I'm gonna send it to you,
Oh,
and I'm gonna
I'm like, yay, let's go. Okay, back channel. I just added.
but no, I'm gonna send you
I'm
pictures of
excited.
I'm gonna send you. I took Prince didn't let cameras in Paisley Park. He didn't let it happen, but he allowed me, and he never talked me out of it. And
Oh my
so yeah, when he
God, no!
passed, I didn't show them to anyone for God, how many years was it? I took him in like 2004, 5, 6, and so it was like a decade, more than a decade, a little more than a decade. And so when he transitioned, I just like threw them all on the floor and took one photo, and like People Magazine, all these places were hitting me up, and I just wasn't going to do it. Too many people were already selling them out. And so I donated them to Carver Historical Society, which is in Chanhassen, and that's where Paisley Park was at, or is at. And Chanhassen is outside, right outside of Minneapolis, and they. The reason why I wanted to do that is because Chanhassen allowed Prince to just be. Like, he rode his bike, nobody bothered him. He would get on his bike, he'd ride down um, to the school and play piano with the kids and talk to them, and you know, go through the line to McDonald's, and nobody's like saying anything. We went to the movies couple of times, and he just rented out the theater. And I mean, it's just, they let him. He could go to Walgreens, whatever. He could just go anywhere, and they didn't. Now, I mean, they would look at him and they'd be like, "Hey," but they didn't like mob him or any of that. And but God, is it cold there? I was in June in the middle of the night. We was a after party. Walked out in June. I'm a Florida girl. I remember, I'm a tropical girl, and I could see my breath. It was because he was trying to give me a job and for me to move there, and I was like, no, that's not happening. Um, but anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I could go on and on, but so I have those pictures, and then I would love to share some other things with you as well. Are you there?
Oh my God. I'm trying not to
No,
scream
it's
because
okay.
I'm like,
No, it's okay.
ah!
Well, they're property of Carver County Historical Society now, but they've given me leeway to share them with people, so
Well,
have no
I would
problem
not
doing it.
share, and I would just like my favorite, my favorite Prince song is "Girls and Boys" because he speaks French, and then Seven,
Well,
Seven.
the fact
Actually, I
that you
probably
know
have like
those
a lot.
songs says a
Erotic
lot.
City.
So, I mean, I really want people to know the music that most people don't know. You know what I mean? Everybody knows the really popular music, and when we talk, I'll tell you, I like boycotted Purple Rain on the musicology tour, because I would dance throughout the entire concert. I was basically on that tour. But whenever Purple Rain came on, I like sat down because nobody knew the other songs, but everybody knew that. So I love that you know some of the other songs. So I have some. I have some other stuff that I can send you some music that I think that
Who
you'll
knew
like.
Mickey was a D cut fan?
Hey, girl,
Did not know
I
Oh,
loved
that.
her and
and
I
I knew
love her even
somebody
more.
that had the Black Album.
I
Now,
have it. I have it.
um, he wasn't a good friend of mine, but he was a friend. He was actually like my first boyfriend when I was 16, and he ended up transitioning himself
Oh, I'm
later
sorry.
years because he was a very tortured soul. But he loved Prince so much. Like he was into all of the music and the changes, and I think his favorite song was like the song about Cindy Crawford. And I mean, like he was more of a connoisseur, whereas I think I was a huge fan, but he was just a connoisseur. So I'll look at those pictures and think about him. Is it
Yeah.
at his funeral? He loved Prince so much that he was in his early 30s, and everybody wore purple to his funeral. That's how much of a Prince fan that he was. So I'm definitely gonna look at those and listen to the music because it's just he was just such a musical genius, and he just seemed like such a unique creature. You know, like I cannot imagine having that kind of talent. Like it's just insane guitarist. Just well, and for you to actually know that person outside of that persona, like that is so amazing. Thank you.
No worries. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I can't remember what it was. It'll come to me. It's late. It's been a long day. Yeah, I look forward to talking to you. Yeah, I'm glad that I stayed. I almost got off earlier because I'm been going all day. I've been on Zoom calls, and I don't do video well. Like, I have some kind of thing with my eyes. I have a neurological thing, and I don't do well. But I had to be on Zoom calls for work. I'm also an adjunct professor today, and I almost got off. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad that I stayed.
Me too. In one of those, you're supposed to be asleep, but you're not. Yeah.
Oh,
No. Thank you so
I know what I
much.
was gonna
Yeah, I'm
say.
gonna.
I
I
was
look forward to that, and just connecting and listening.
What I was gonna say is this: is
Yeah, I
anybody,
look forward to all of that.
anybody that
Nice to formally make your acquaintance.
you too. Anybody that wants to know Prince, all they have to do is listen to the music because he really did write his life. So the music that you are not familiar with, like in the music that he wrote, like in the later years, people want to know more. Anytime people are like, they question me, I'm like, all you have to do is listen to the music. I mean, really, he really poured his heart and soul in it, and pay attention to the lyrics. They're almost. I mean, a friend of mine that he's a professor. Well, he's not there anymore, but he was a professor at NYC, and he actually created a course. It was an accredited course on Prince, so that was cool. Zaire Ali.
Oh, that is cool. I
Yeah.
even did a room on Clubhouse on his estate. That was probably the only time that I was disappointed because I know well that's what it he presented is that he was very very fierce about his music, and I read a little bit about it and was I followed it closely for quite a bit, but then I also used that as an example for people to understand, like, this is also, what can happen, kind of like cautionary tales. Chadwick Boseman, Prince, there have been a number. What's her name? The Queen of Aretha Franklin. Uh, None of them had estate planning, so I
Well,
referenced
he did
that
it on
quite a bit.
purpose. He
Oh,
did it.
well,
He did it purposely. But that's another story. But yeah,
really?
what the estate has done is just disgusting. I mean, the person. I don't have any problem saying it. I've told him. His name's Londale, and he's just a snake. And Prince fired him, but he's handling the estate now. And yeah, I haven't been back to Paisley Park um, since he transitioned
Aw.
because I just yeah I'm Morris keeps trying to get me to go back, and I told him I'm like I mean if I go, it's gonna have to be with him. And he's gonna have to hold me up. It's kind of, I mean, 'cause to me, it's like, I mean, Prince did want it to be a museum, but he wanted some, I'm taking up too much time and talking too much. I'm sorry.
No, you were fine. If you're ever in Houston, I'm definitely gonna have to
Ah,
treat you to,
I'm
to
going to be
dinner or
in Houston,
something. But no, I
I'm going to be in
understand this is
Houston this coming spring.
whoop whoop whoop.
Yep, I am. Be in
Awesome saucy.
Louisiana and then in Houston.
You too, GA. We're just leaving you out. You probably went to sleep.
Are you in Houston?
You know what? I don't know.
GA, are you in
I probably,
Houston?
no, absolutely not. I live on the beach. I don't do that.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you were. Because I
Excuse
was like, if
me.
you're in
I
Houston, I was like,
will
so you
come.
and Tony C are like hanging out. Okay, go ahead.
I will come to. I will fly to Texas for some barbecue in a heartbeat. I will do it. I will do it. I think I'll have to be in Houston this summer, though. I think I have plans to be there.
Oh, cool.
I think we've put everybody to bed.
Yeah, I think so. It's 1:40 here. Where are you now, Dr. Jen?
I'm in between Orlando and Miami. I'm making a transition. I'll be living in Miami and also Indiana because my mom is there. My father passed away 2 years ago, and she's not doing too well herself, so I'm there a lot. But I've been traveling nonstop since December, and yeah, been yeah. I could use I could yeah. Like I have a lot to I think we are gonna have a lot to talk about. Um, I have a friend that's been in investing, and he used to be an athlete, and he stays very low key. But yeah, I've been working with him, and he's in finance, he's real estate, all those things, and yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you. And
Me
for
too.
you, I
Me
mean, not just
too.
I don't want you to think because of that, but that'll just be a bonus. I mean, I've
No,
known
yeah, you
I've
just seem a really
yeah.
cool person,
Well, I've
like
known who
just
you are for like the last, because you've been on here
five.
since at least 2022, haven't you? Because I remember you. When did you join?
Mm-hmm. You're right, I wasn't in Debate the News as much, but
But you were on
there was like a
Politics.
group, because I can sense that you're an ally also, so thank you. I
Yeah.
did a lot with a group called Black Think Tank.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, everybody had like their social groups and we met a couple of times. So usually I was in the political rooms.
Yeah. Well, my daughters are
The
also my daughters are
70% of my time is in the political rooms.
yeah, my daughters are black too as well. So, yeah, I mean, but I was an activist before I had my daughters, but yeah. So I've seen you. I've known who you are for a number of years. I've been on and off. I don't really like social media to be honest, but it brings people together like this, so I hang on to it.
Yay! I want to get to the point where I don't like social media either.
Yeah.
However, I realize that um, there's so much that you can share and, you know, like have conversations about. Um, so I'm like, and I'm learning how to use TikTok. My son won't do the little dances with me and all that. My sons, I should say, but
That's so cute.
I'm trying to learn.
Disrespectful kids. I don't know what's wrong with them.
I know.
My
They're
daughter
just
won't
like,
do
he's like,
it.
Mom, we're not doing the little dance. I'm like, I want to do the little dances. And he's like, no. So all three of them have declined. So I'm not going to do the little dances by myself. But yeah, I think I read a stat that like 70% of Gen Z gets their financial education and advice from TikTok, which is fascinating and scary at the same time.
Whoa. I don't know
Yeah.
what to think about that one.
And I think YouTube is like the number one research resource in America, which is crazy. But you can
Miki,
literally figure out anything on YouTube. Mm-hmm.
Miki, you have to look on X. There's an account called Investors of TikTok, and it's just screen grabs of TikTok investors giving the worst advice ever. It's so
Oh, thank you,
funny.
Joseph. Let me find it because I'm gonna
Did you
try to
say the
like
worst
do
advice
content
ever?
with content. Investors of TikTok.
It is hilarious. People who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about just giving the boldest advice.
You know what the worst thing I heard, guys, when I first got on the app? Because you remember at first, like you couldn't do a room. Oh, Joseph, why is the first one that comes up? It says Grant Cardone is a clown. Oh my God, that's not nice. I'm kidding. I mean, I could take a screenshot,
I
but
didn't. Wait, is that from the Investors of TikTok account?
I pulled up investors of TikTok all at once, and that's what came up. It says hashtag Grant Cardone, hashtag wealth building, 10x mindset, real estate investment, financial freedom.
Oh my god, I didn't even know they trolled him. There's some really funny ones on there.
It looks like they troll everybody, but it was during the AMC, the meme stocks, when that was happening, and I was in a room. Because you know everybody was doing these rooms, and I'm not a trader. I'm a very traditional, we're not doing like Bitcoin and professionally managed accounts. Like you're not trading them all the time. That's not what you do. And I heard this girl say, "Well, I bought, I don't know, we'll say Apple, but it went down. So what should I do?" And they said, "Well, buy some more. You got to double down. So when it comes up, you'll have even more." I think it was AMC. And she was like, "Well, it went down like 30%." And they're like, "You got to double down and buy some more. And then if it goes down, then you just buy some more and you'll make up your money in no time." And I was like, "Oh my God." This girl was like, "Miki, I lost $20,000 because I was trading." I was like, "Why are you doing that? What are you doing that for? Why are you doing, you don't have 20, what?" So I was just like, Lord, let me help these little children because they listen to the traders, and it's like, oh, take this course for $999 and you can learn how to make $5,000 a day starting out with $5. And,
That
they
part.
just, oh, Jesus, they just give me, Lord have mercy. Thank you for that, Joseph, because I'm going to start doing content from other people's content. That's the easiest thing to do.
It's so funny, and it's actually called TikTok Investors. I'll
TikTok
put it in the chat.
investors. Oh, that's funny. The first one I pulled up, I think that was like my first argument with Grant when he was telling people to sell their houses and invest in apartment funds. But
I remember that, Nikki.
that's it.
I remember
Oh,
that.
I've got it. Thank you, Joseph. Joseph is so awesome. Thank you, Lord. Look at the Bitcoin people. I swear, crypto just gives me palpitations. I used to chase the Bitcoin
Why is
bros out of my
that?
room. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Jen.
I couldn't come off mic. I'm sorry. I just laughed. I said, "Why is that?" You said it gives you palpitations.
Because I am any investment, I don't really care what people put their money in, right? My thing is more estate planning and financial planning, which is more like, financial projection, saving enough for retirement, for, emergencies, for kids going to college, all of that, right? My thing is like just get a will, get life insurance, get a trust, whatever. But when I'm friends with one of the bigger guys on the app that does a lot of crypto. His name is Marquise Trill. And I actually went in the room one day because I'm like, okay, professionally at the time, it wasn't even authorized or approved. Like, the industry had barely gotten used to the cannabis being legal and the ETFs and mutual funds, and here comes crypto. So like we weren't even able to mention it, like to a client. No platforms. Well, platforms had it, but not like Schwab or Merrill Lynch. Like you couldn't, hold it or buy it. And I went in this room and I raised my hand and I said, I'm curious, like, y'all are talking about you have the wallets and this and that. I said, so what happens if you die? And this guy goes, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, I mean, like, do you have kids? Like, can they access it? Like, because in a brokerage account, you have beneficiaries on an IRA or you have a will. And he's like, well, I mean, he said, to be perfectly honest, about 70% of it would be lost. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, well, they probably couldn't access it because of where I have the wallet and da 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 da. And I was like, huh? So, yeah, it gave me heart palpitations because I'm like, then why would you have something that is not gonna, because you are gonna die, right? Like, that, right? It is gonna happen. So, yeah, they just gave me heart palpitations. So I tried to educate them about certain trusts and, just to make sure that somebody, I call it a cold Gucci wallet, that someone has the keys or the access or whatever so that it doesn't go away. We actually had the son of a client who had about $300,000 worth of Bitcoin a couple of years ago. And while he was in college using daddy's money, and he couldn't remember the key. So it was essentially lost. And we
Oh
used
my
to,
gosh,
yeah, true
that's
story. So
crazy.
it does happen.
Yeah, Mickey, it's my joke is always they're not going to die. They're going to live forever on the blockchain. They're convinced. They're absolutely convinced.
Inaccessible forever on the blockchain, that is.
Yeah, they're going to live forever on the blockchain.
See, and that would just break my heart. Like, did y'all see that guy who had, what is it, like more than a couple of million by now, and he threw it away and he wanted to, let me
Buy the
see what, because I don't know
landfill.
if it's
He
in the
was trying to buy.
States, but he wanted to sue them to go through the trash
Yeah,
dump
he wanted to buy the
to find
landfill.
it.
The last thing I heard, he was trying to buy it so he could go through it.
Oh, was he trying to buy it? I know he was trying to do something with the trash
Yeah,
dump. Like, bro, let it go. It's
yeah,
gone. Like a lottery ticket that you throw away. Bye bye. It's gone, bro.
he,
Just let it go.
he was literally trying to buy the landfill from the county so he could go through it. No joke.
Which would take him a lifetime, so he'll find it when he's 99 years old. Like, okay. Yay. Well, y'all, it's 1:51. The universe has delivered tonight. Got to chat with Dr. Jen. Yay, I'm looking forward to those pictures. Woo-hoo-hoo. Got to hear about the Diddy
And
trial
it's
tomorrow.
been a joy for me too. You have what
Yes,
tomorrow?
so good night, everybody. Y'all don't fall asleep on here. I'm always afraid we're gonna hear something we shouldn't one day, which is why I close out the app. But y'all would just hear me snoring, so it's not that exciting.
Good
Have
night,
a good
Miki. We'll
night,
see you
Mom.
tomorrow.
Good
Bye.
night, Joseph. Y'all do such a good Joseph. While you're here, when do y'all do your true crime rooms? Because I like to come in and support.
Love having you. We do it every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. East Coast time.
So Tuesday and Thursday, 7 East Coast is, that must be 5 Central. You an hour ahead? I'll figure it out. Let me see, 7 East Coast. Okay, because I think I came in a little late today. All right, I'm gonna put it in my calendar. I can't always talk, but I just like to come in and support. Okay, awesome, Saucy. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Bye bye.
So Tyson, Ken, are any of you awake? Does Jonathan usually just like leave the room? Are you guys asleep? I'm getting ready to leave. I don't know whether to leave it going or what to do. So, going once. I'm gonna go ahead and close the room out because I can't imagine you just want it to go because it won't save. So, everyone have a good night. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, and I might get yelled at later, but I'm gonna
No,
go
that's
ahead and do
cool.
it.
Have
Okay. I just wanted
Good
to
night,
check.
Dr. Jen.
All right. Good night.
a good night.